In today's episode of the Classic Life podcast, we dive into Ice Crown Citadel in preparation for this raid coming out, the hardest raid we've ever experienced in WoW Classic. We are going to do an entire survival guide, giving you tips and tricks and an entire breakdown of every single boss encounter. Now, we don't necessarily talk about Heroic Lich King because if you aren't going to be doing that, then you probably don't necessarily need to know too much, but that entire guide will be out after the Race World First. I will have a guide releasing right after the Race World First. But the special guests today are Joardee, Pummel, and of course, I always do this with my boy Crix, who has a ton of info for you guys and tips on every single encounter. Before we even get into ICC though, we will be discussing the mock Garage tournament that OTK announced, as well as we will get into a little bit of predictions for who we think is going to win the Race World First. And be aware that I did edit some of the silences out with an AI podcast assistant, which means it also might cut some of the conversations we're having if that was a too quiet conversation. Unfortunately, that is just the fastest way by far for me to be able to get this all going to you guys. All right, that's it. Let's dive right in.
Welcome back to the Classic Life, guys, the best podcast in the world, all about World of Warcraft and just classic video games. My name is Sarthe, and we haven't done one of these in a really long time. We have two amazing special guests here today, and I like that I just took over our traction. Crix, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing? I just moved, so I'm hectic.
Yeah, new background.
Trying to get some videos done before I go back to streaming tomorrow. I'll start a little subathon.
Ooh,
make some of the money
perfect
back from this fucking move.
That's true. Oh yeah, because you're doing the hardcore tournament, right? The mock Garage tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna do one anyway and just do like random stuff like you're doing. So it's, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I have a lot of grades still to do.
Yeah,
I have my whole planner here with all my fucking 4 characters for ICC. Somehow wiggled 4 characters in 10 minutes and 25 minutes.
Dude, I need a calendar too. Fuck.
I mean, it's the best thing ever. I know you can use a computer, but there's something about like just writing it down on a planner that I like a lot.
You can use the computer.
I haven't planned
I don't like
any raids.
I don't really like doing it.
You guys don't have like a Google Calendar with stuff?
Yeah,
do you?
Yeah, I think it's an age thing.
Well,
I'm boomed out.
Here, I'll show you guys what I have. I'll send a screenshot.
I'm boomed out, dog. I like to have that right in front of me.
Plus,
if it's right here, you can see it at all times. It's like right here on my thing, so I'm like, oh, I can't miss it, you know?
Yeah, I need to do that.
Let me see.
Look how organized Pummel is.
Wow.
Can you just send me that, and I'll have that as a thing? Send me that.
BAP helps me maintain.
It would be
this,
really
and,
useful if I
have
checked
ICC too.
Discords and signed up for actual raids.
She's already carrying you.
There's like a master sheet too of like all the gold I've earned on all my characters on Benediction the entire.
I wish I was better at spreadsheets like you.
You're tracking at all the gold you've spent and made?
Yeah, of course.
That's smart.
So wait, do you know how much gold you've made and spent in this whole time you've been playing with me?
Well, I started doing this halfway into TGC, so like since week 8. So
what are you at since week 8?
I'll send a screenshot.
It's gonna be something ridiculous. By the way, well, personally, let's introduce everybody. Pummel, you can introduce yourself.
Not bad.
That's actually not that much.
608,000.
Yeah, I thought more too.
Oh, leaker, what the hell?
All right, guys, Pummel has made 600,000.
Well, I guess before we talk about ICC, can we touch briefly on the mock Garage tournament?
Yeah, of course. So the mock Garage, Pummel's camera, is it bugging out for anyone else, by the way?
No,
just me. I might need to rejoin.
OTK in partnership with Blizzard and Starforge and Raider.io are doing a mock Garage tournament with a prize pool of $100,000, $50,000 to the winner, the other $50,000 split between the respective leaders of the classes.
Is that the highest? Is that
the highest one ever known
in all of World of Warcraft?
Right, yeah, to Blizzard.
Like, has there ever been an arena tournament ever close to like this amount? That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's very, very ridiculous. Yeah, it's really, really dope. I'm excited for it. My video today, I'll be posting a little bit, is everything you need to know about it, which is kind of cool. I had fun with it.
I'm gonna reconnect to this call really fast.
A couple people like tips in them, trying to get some stuff changed a little bit that I don't like with it. That not me generally, but like the community doesn't like some of the stuff. Like
what? Like protection potions?
No, I don't care about that. I mean, obviously I'd read that. I'm a warlock, so that sucks. But I'm not. No, it's like flasks mainly. So they said the main rules are you can't have raid loot, which makes sense. All the raid loot besides like Ubers, because that doesn't really, all the 40-man raids and then 20-man raids, you can't have any of the loot, which is fair. But
I'm gonna fix the camera in a minute, guys.
A lot of people are tripping on, but I don't think that's that big of a deal because it's world bosses. They're harder to get to. I know there are going to be some people getting carried and doing them, but you know, they didn't specify.
I agree. They shouldn't do world bosses. I agree.
Yeah, well, their argument was that you can't layer swap to farm them, which you actually can because we were doing it and we do it in Frontier all the time. Yes, Blizzard did change it and make it so you couldn't, but you can if you have 2 groups there, right? And you
But
just
you
cycle
can't
people in
layer
that group.
swap for one person. So it's like you roll
Yeah.
the dice and you're done.
Exactly.
There was like
And-
some clip of Zico like saying, I needed like this person to farm me title charm while I'm leveling, this person to do
Yeah.
this, this one to do that, and
yeah,
they're already
it's-
starting the.
It's pretty
It's
like,
gonna
I'm not
be-
shit talking those streamers at all. I love Zico. I love, you know, Bean. I watch all these guys, but I've been watching a lot of them past couple days while doing videos since yesterday. I mean, so, and it's pretty cringe, some of it. Like they're like you getting thousands. I watched 2 people go and give someone 500 and someone 1,000 gold, and they go, "I just bought this from G2G to give it to you for your tournament," type shit. And they already have bank. I already have bank alt there too, just
It's
like
not
farming
on
random
your
shit,
end?
but like they have like thousands of gold on their bank alts. Given from obviously chat, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's just like, yeah, Snuts was getting traded gold, but Snuts isn't getting traded that much gold. I'm talking like the big streamers, like people who are like already over there, thousands of gold deep, buying out everything on the auction house right now, completely fucking the market up. This obviously is going to be screwed. Like one person went over there and bought every single protection potion, every single FAP that was on there. They were like 8 gold a piece. Now they're like 40 gold a piece. You know, Petries, which are, you can't use them in the actual dueling tournament, but you can use them. Obviously, you can use them for like when you're, you know, farming your Priebus or whatever you mark as your, you know, PvP Priebus. So people, I mean, it's like 100 gold already going up to 200 gold. Like everything's going to be really fucking pricey for it. So that's kind of crazy.
I'm interested
What?
to see the sets they make of pre-60 PvP, non-raid, non-world
Mhm.
boss essentially. This, so
Yeah.
that'll be really cool. It's like remember when Classic was first announced and on the beta, the cap was like 39 or something, 36. And they twinked out those characters as hard as they could. Like they were running like Razorfin downs for like quests, like way higher than they were supposed to. Like that was really bad. That's how I see this. Like min-maxing a new bracket of the game that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. I'm gonna do it myself. It's just gonna be a little harder for some people who. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be super harder, but like the flat, like okay, well, Joardee, you say what you're gonna say first because this is the next topic on it.
No, it's super rad and it's a good step in the right direction. And I totally think that like all the things you're talking about, the economy and stuff, is like that's unavoidable. Like that's just the nature of video games and MMOs. It's just like and streaming. It's just like people want to pump somebody, right? And like you're gonna get Benny somehow. You know what I mean? Like it's all gonna be, you know, the average players is gonna be a lot harder. But I mean, it's PvP. People come out of the woodwork like Vitochi. No one knew who that guy was, and boom, you know, it's
I'm
like
not bugging.
there are ways to succeed, and 50K is a lot of money, and
A lot of money.
I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be fun to
Yeah.
watch. I'm not gonna be able to do it. The timing is awful with
Horrible
ICC,
timing. I
but
wish they'd push it out a little bit more, to be honest.
yeah, but you know, I don't think that Twitch and the viewers at large give a fuck about Wrath so much compared to hardcore, you know. And so, you know, that's not really a consideration. But I'm excited to watch. It'll be fun.
Would you have participated if it wasn't around ICC time?
Yes,
Like,
absolutely, I would have.
Hell yeah.
I'm not a
that'd be
huge, I'm not a
great.
huge PvPer, but I would have totally done it.
It would be
Fun.
so fun. It's literally Hardcore Realms and ICC being right around the same time is such a grief because we had so much time in
Really is a
TOGC.
grief, dog.
We had so much time in TOGC to just be like, what am I doing right now? Leveling another character, I guess. And so like it's just been so rough for anyone that wants to take Wrath seriously, right? Especially with the 3 PTRs. I'm surprised you've been able to make it almost to 60. You're gonna hit 60 today, Joardee. It's like that's impressive because I have not had time to play
I feel
it
like
all.
it really hurts. It hurts people who want to play it, but it hurts a lot of people, like especially like Joardee, me, Pummel, you, even Sarthe. Like there's a lot of us who are like super hardcore into Lich King and ICC with multiple tunes, and then we're also super hard into hardcore. So you kind of got to balance both of them. Or like this tournament, we have ICC coming up, and then TwitchCon, and then BlizzCon. So it's like, you know what I mean? Good thing we can know life and be able to do it, but it's just gonna be kind of rough, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on hitting 60 in the first week and rating and all of that, and then PTR hit, and I was like, well, there goes my chance of doing any of that. So
Same.
And then I went to Japan for 2 weeks, but
I'm level 31 on hardcore.
Nice.
I'm 32.
trying.
I'm 32, and that's from day one. It's just from day one. They announced ICC PTR 1 hour before hardcore came out, the realms, and yeah, I was just like, well, I was planning also to like go super hard and raid and everything, and it was like, nope, I stopped after my first session because it started being like, let's plan ICC. So I'm really excited to see the OTK tournament. I think it's gonna be awesome.
I hope
50,000
they
to the
change
winner.
some things though. because like
It's gonna be a cheeser who wins.
You can use everything you can use everything in the game. The only thing that was banned so far is the gnomish mind control cap, which is like whatever. So you can use everything, pets and trinkets and everything else from engineering. But you can also use every consumable besides Flask of Petri.
Yep.
And which is a good, good. You shouldn't be able to use Petri. Obviously, I'm anti-Petri, but this is like a real reason everybody, like, nobody's like, oh fuck, I want my Petri. But they for the dual tournament at least, but you can use like Flask of Titans and Distilled Wisdom, and in Classic you can click it off and redo it over and over again, and every time you do it, it gives you 1200 health.
Does
or 2000
Titans
mana. You can just spam click it,
give you HP every time? Because Wisdom's does. I know Wisdom does, but for some reason I thought Titans would make you like you
the entire fucking time.
Yeah, I don't think Titans.
Crazy.
Are you sure Titans works like that?
Yeah. It's a whole thing. Everyone's talking about it. They tested it. It's like a whole thing.
Is that new? Did it always work like that? Yeah. Your tank would literally never be able to die.
I feel like, well, you would get one shot, but I feel like I also remember there being a difference between the two. But
me too, yeah, because you could green mana pot.
Crix says it's a thing.
Yeah,
there's people with clips, and there's people weaving it like crazy right now to prove that you can do it. Because it's kind of shocked that they didn't know you could do it at first.
You need to have less HP than what Titans gives. Yeah, Wisdom you were always able to. Like speed runs, that was literally the meta. It was called green mana potting, and your healers would have to, and so would casters, right? You would always have to. So like mana's not going to be an issue whatsoever. You literally are going to do it. You're going to go ham. Shadow Priests are going to be great because they could. I was thinking about like the classes for it. Shadow Priest can dispel all of the like.
Shadow Priest can be one of the best.
All of the buffs you put on yourself.
They can do that.
Hunters will never run out of mana, and warlocks have to break through like 4,000 to 6,000 shadow damage before they hurt someone.
That's the three best class. I think that's the three best classes for the tournament too.
But that's
warlock, hunter, shadow priest. If they can do the mana, if they don't switch to flask.
Greater protection potion and pre-popping is so good.
Get destroyed by anything with a pet. Remember, totem stomping's in the game, so hunters and warlocks will devour a shaman no matter what.
I ran like a tournament back in the day on Benediction, and it was like a Benny Fight Night type deal. And the sleeper one that I never thought would crank everybody was the Ret Paladin. Those guys come out of nowhere with their Reckoning procs and a one-shot people, especially in low gear like that. So. And there's not really a resistance to holy.
But it's horde.
Luckily, this is all horde. Yeah, it's all horde on Skull Rock starting tomorrow. Leveling, for those that didn't know, it starts tomorrow. And on the 30th is a duel, a just normal, duel, not a Makarot for qualifiers to make it into the finals. Mm-hmm. And then Halloween, the 31st will be the finals.
Makarot crossback, I guess that.
Yeah, no,
but you have to be able to do. You can't duel cross faction.
Gotcha. Yeah, so they're gonna do all horde. I think that's a good call. Paladin, could have been a sleeper pick if you got like a good weapon and you just.
Is kind of annoying.
Yeah, is super annoying.
Yeah, I know everybody can get it. It'd be fair that everybody can get it, but like I don't know, just kind of the cheese stuff. Get it out of the game. I think they should just.
Everything is cheese.
Stuff is already on the line, so it's just kind of nice to see some.
You have Cat's Eye Elixir, so you can find every rogue that finds you from
goggles.
You have goggles. You also have like you can have macros that literally like tag them every time, right? So that they literally can never catch you on your opener. You're not allowed to get the opener. You start 20 yards away from each other.
Get the opener.
So hunters can kite forever.
I think rogues are going to be good still, but I think this really like fucks rogues more than anything. All the rules.
Yeah, they're not letting
more. You know more about rogues than I do, Sarthe. Yeah, they can't. I feel like they're kind of scuffed rogues a little bit on this.
I think so too, and Bobka thinks he can do it, but I'm like they also you can heart. That's.
So does C do. They all think they can still do it. As
I think it's going to be really, really good.
So
I think they're going to be good, yes.
The reason
I don't think they're going to be fucking
rogue would be good
normally would be
is because you have such low gear that you can kill people before they can do anything. That's like
they also get their 0.5.
Yeah, exactly, right. And everyone else is like okay, like 0.5 is okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
their
rogue 0.5 is really good.
Yeah, exactly. And the weapons they can get, they can just farm Ubers all day and get in
getting a Fell Striker. Or like fucking there's a ton of. Crazy weapons that no other class is gonna get as much of a power jump.
You can get PvP trinkets. You buy it on those realms.
Yeah, you can buy.
You just buy it on the.
They're good for some classes. Garbage for a lot of them though.
Yeah, but PvP trinkets don't work the same. Like they only get you out of certain things, right? So they have a specific like some will be stuns, some will be fear, some will be sheep or incapacitate.
Like the warlock one is fucking cheeks. It's like a wotif. It doesn't get you out of stuns, but then the priest one gets you out of all the best stuff. You know what I mean? Or the rogue one gets you out of stuns, which is cool.
And
Undead Shadow Priest OP.
But like
I think Undead Shadow Priest was really troll Shadow Priest can proc blackout. So with with
That's
the
what I was
stuff,
thinking. But the big
I
thing
just one of those.
that I was thinking about for Rogue is you can't, if you don't kill them in all of your CC and stuff, you can't slow them. But I don't think you really need to with that gear ever get to that point. But you can't slow them because they can spam poison resistance or anything.
Exactly.
And you literally, like, your poisons won't last on them whatsoever. But realistically, thinking about it with Rogue and that gear, you can reset things, especially if you're Hemo or even if you're dagger spec, but like, you could reset it indefinitely.
Phases.
You could, yeah. With
You got 3 phases
Bobcats-
of Rogue and 3 phases of Mages, bro. You got the first phase, you got their ice block, and then their first finish. Then they reset and got a second one, and they're finally open for the third one. Well, you can't boost it. And there's no raid gear allowed, and it's on Skull Rock, which is fresh. But there's already people like in terms of big streamers who have like friends or chats over there.
I saw people
Will help
getting
boost them a lot.
traded
Yeah,
hundreds of gold yesterday.
Bro,
Honestly,
I've literally watched someone
It's so
walk up and
cheese.
give someone 1,000 gold. I'm not gonna say who it was, 1,000, and then somebody else 500 or 600, and said, "I bought this off G2G for you for the tournament."
I'm surprised they didn't make a tournament realm. If Blizzard said they're involved,
Yep.
right? So it's like, why didn't they make their own server for it? Like they can do
Maybe
that.
this is like a feelsy thing, like
Or make
see
a
how it goes
PTR.
type shit. Yeah,
Like
they did it. Didn't they do a tournament realm for like CDL or something? They had
they've
their own
done
little.
them before.
I don't think CDL ever got their own tournament realm. I'm not sure. I know early CDL people
Something got a turn.
got
something
there
got a
and were
tournament realm.
interrupting. We got a tournament realm for the next speed runs, and we've done speed runs with Blizzard.
Exactly,
That
yeah.
they set up tournament realms for, and actual like retail PvP and stuff and retail things. They do tournament realms, so it's a thing. Like they can set it up for sure. So it is a thing. I'm also kind of surprised that they're not, with how big this tournament is going to be. There's going to be a lot of people are having a massive advantage. People are going to get boosted leveling, like at the crabs. If you are a big streamer, you
Fucking
probably
troll
have a
necklaces. Jesus Christ.
massive, you have a massive advantage for leveling up fast, and also people just giving you free stuff. I literally said this on S-Van's stream right as they announced it, is that prices of gold on that server were about to skyrocket.
Yep.
People, if someone was smart, they would have bought as much gold as possible right there. I know it's like illegal.
It was like
but
$5 for like 40 gold right now or some shit.
it's like, yeah, because people are gonna cheese. You can win 5 or 50,000. That's insane. Moose,
I think
thank you
it's
for the
good that
tier
they
1.
use a tournament realm because just the undertake like hardcore is just different than like a max speedrun, because max speedrun you can put the max level characters in there, the gear, etc. But like in hardcore, it's if you die on the journey up, you lose, and having the population of hardcore players already around helps you do like those dungeons and stuff. Like say you are on the tournament realm and you're one of the first 60s, like you're farming like a few greens from a quest, and you can't really do like Skolo or Strath.
That's true.
So you almost need like the other population to get the min-maxi without all the raids and stuff. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that.
I think that's gonna be the fun shit. Is if you think of all these people, like we're all starting together tomorrow. You know, a lot of the people from like my guild Frontier are gonna be playing too. So it's like everyone's playing together. You're gonna be playing with, say, you're in a party with Seiko, Cedu, and you're doing all these dungeons, and you don't want it. You want to successfully do the Ubers or the.
Did you?
Imagine you're a warrior, you're a tank in there, you're a C tank who's going to warrior no matter what, and you're tanking a nice little Skolo, and you have 4 competitors in there. You're like not taunt or whatever, not AOE taunt.
Imagine that somebody hits max level, they like farm out their character, and the day before they're like, I don't know, maybe doing field duty trying to farm Earthstrike, and then they just die with their tournament character.
God,
It's
imagine
gonna
trying to farm
happen.
Earthstrike for that. Holy shit, that'd be crazy.
I could see people doing that, like
That's a
insane
big
stuff.
grind. That's a lot. That's a crazy.
I mean, imagine the trinket. Like no one's gonna have a trinket
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That's no. Someone's gonna feed you all of the field duties, right? Like,
Papers too.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so yeah, it's for sure. I mean, it's gonna be a thing. It's
I mean, you can prep care packages.
prep
now for
everything.
all that shit.
they already
So-
are, bro. They already are. You should.
Yeah,
I'm not even
exactly.
kidding. You should have saw some of these streamers. I was jealous. I was angry, but also jealous at the same time. I
And-
was like,
and-
damn.
Honestly, for the person, if your business is this game, for the person that wins, 50K prize pool is nice, but it's going to be a lot more than that for that person.
yes,
And that is something that needs to be taken into account. So it's just like that person is, fucking
gonna get
Joker
thousands
level
and
now.
thousands of
It's like
viewers.
huge. So
Classic Makara tournament winner number 1.
yep. Mhm.
It's just crazy because you see them go. They're going, man. I hate these rules, and I hate that I'm doing this as they're clicking trade. And chat's like, well, why are you doing it? He's like, because I have to. Like, I have to do this. I'm like,
yeah.
I think it'll be fun. I don't think it for sure is that they win by any means. I think that it could be. I hope it's.
It could be.
I hope
anybody.
it's a nobody.
I hope it could
really
be
do.
anybody, man. It really could be.
I hope
it
it's
could be anybody.
Crix.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'll take it, bro.
I
Same time,
would
I
be
think
so
that,
happy if you won the day before BlizzCon.
There's a lot of other good warlock. I have PvP classic a lot as a warlock, and I feel very confident. But there's a lot of other good warlocks like Trill and Snuts and Chan, just to name.
Yeah,
a
But what
few.
if they
And
die?
that's just the name of
What
few
if they
of them. That's what I'm saying.
DC?
That's what's funny is not them because I think they're all good gamers. But there's a lot of people who are like in the like OTK like Makrat Discord they made who are like, I can't wait to do it, blah blah blah, and they haven't even like made it past level 35 or something. Remember, you got to get to 60 first, right?
Who do you think is
Can
if
you
you
leave
had
that
to pick
Discord in
someone
the-
right now?
Yeah.
Who do you think would win? Like who's your top pick?
It says it's disabled invites. I'll find it. I don't know. I think Trills hasn't been sure if he's gonna do it or not, but Trill's definitely up there. Snuts, I think Snuts is an amazing warlock, and I think it's gonna be a warlock that takes it. It's gonna be a Soul Link warlock, and it's gonna be like one of those like Giga Brain. Like I know
think
my
Chan's
shit,
gonna
but they're
take it
like
for
yeah,
sure.
Chan, Snuts,
Yeah.
Trill, like one of those galaxy brained warlocks who just fucking just the PvP is embedded in them. I think a hunter could do it too. I think hunters are phenomenal. A good hunter who can actually do this, and I think if they don't change the flask variation stuff, the flask weaving, a Shadow Priest could fuck hard because they can dispel a lot of like they're like really good, and if they have unlimited mana to worry about, then they're
Yeah, I think
My pick
the
is a
consumables is gonna be huge. If there weren't those consumables, I would say Warlock. There's no chance anyone beats one of the Warlocks, but those consumes means like
it goes from like
I'm
for
not sure
sure
if-
Warlock to like it opens up to a few other.
Yeah.
Warlocks, but I still think Warlock.
But like,
Remember, they
Snuts,
usually
Trill, and
ban
Chan
they
are
usually
just-
ban Soul Link from these tournaments.
Yeah,
For this
SLSL is
reason, and they're
usually
not.
banned. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're letting Soul Link Nightfall, Soul Link Shadowburn. They're letting these specs go in, which is gonna be kind of crazy. But I think they're letting it in because the pots.
Yeah,
Those
for
pots
sure.
were
yeah.
in, and those pots were in the tournaments as well, and a Warlock still won. The Warlock still won with Soul Link banned and the pots in one of the big tournaments. Remember, so
Snuts,
I just don't think
But
that a Warlock is fucked with.
you could double potion back then.
I don't know. I know there's one where you could, where they took out Soul, where they didn't take out Soul Link, and Soul Link still won. Then they did one. I don't know who won it, but it was a Warlock. They removed Soul Link from it, and he still won with it without using the Soul Link build. I think it was like Destro or something like that, like pure big Destro.
It's what the first.
What?
It's the
actual
31st. The
31st.
31st.
It starts tomorrow for leveling. You have 24 days till the 30th until you do the qualifiers.
Yeah, you can
Which is
green
normal
mana pot.
duel.
31st is good.
And then Halloween is the
That's a Tuesday.
big final, and then the
Tuesday.
next day everybody heads to BlizzCon. This shit's about to be hype, bro.
That'll be a crazy week.
It's gonna be dope.
We have that thing on Wednesday, and then
Yep.
Yeah.
Disneyland on Thursday. If you guys want to
I'm
come,
down. I'm down.
You're going to Disneyland
Yeah,
on
on the
Thursday?
way.
all the
Oh, you're going too?
all
What
the
do you mean? What do you
Fusion
mean? We? You're
fans
not going,
to
Sarthe?
Disneyland.
I didn't know.
I swear, Sarthe,
Did-
if you fucking show up
did you
2 days
guys-
late again, I'm gonna be pissed.
There's
at
like
you, dog.
10 of us going to Disneyland on Thursday.
Did you
and
guys wrote
then-
me into a group chat that I didn't notice?
Oh, we just assume that you're gonna go.
Yeah,
It's like
no
Joardee.
group chat.
I'm
We
down.
just assume.
It's in the Fusion.
Yeah, Sarthe and I are bunking up. We're gonna get an Airbnb with my little brother. Well, 20, so he's not little, but my little brother.
Your baby
We're still
brother.
fucking- yeah, baby brother. Vibe out.
We tried to get Pum to go, but he's going to Iceland.
Sorry.
That is such a
Nice.
Pummel thing to do.
I want to go. I want to go. You know, sometimes this Iceland awaits.
I would have probably still chose BlizzCon over Iceland. I'm just saying.
Also, are we doing the Doug thing?
Only wants to. I'm down. I don't.
Sounds.
I don't remember what it is. Can you explain what it is again? Because he pinged me about it, and I was like, yes, but I forgot what it is.
The Doug challenge is 4 people in a car, and you get in line at a drive-through, and you have to order whatever the car in front of you ordered, and you have to do as many drive-throughs as the 4 of you can do until you collapse or die.
what the fuck?
That's the most American thing I've ever heard in my life.
And
Okay.
you have to go to KFC. You can only go to a drink
down.
place like
I'm down.
once.
Said
You
KFC.
can-
I'm done. I'm good.
There's a ton of little rules, but it's just like eat everything.
Bro, I'm
Yeah,
down. You said
who
KFC. I'm
invented
fucking
this?
down.
Yeah.
Doug, he's a streamer.
White people
And-
probably.
Yeah, it's
Just saying. Just
And-
gonna throw that out there. Probably a white dude. created that one.
American white people, and
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Hey, Kona. Too bad he said fried chicken. It'd be really K Kona if you're like McDonald's.
Yeah,
you gotta go
I'll do
to
it.
gotta go to a bunch of them, and then so the 4 of you split whatever it is, and then like you could high roll and be like, oh, they just ordered a fry, and then great, so then that counts as 1, or maybe they ordered a family size like a fraternity ordered an entire house full of 30 guys worth of food, and then you're fucked. You know that counts as 1 too.
You,
know what I
guys
mean?
just
It's
gotta
like,
eat it. Like
there's
everybody in the car.
everybody in the
shares
car
it?
has to eat it. The 4 of you.
What's the record?
Yeah, what's
I
the
guess?
how high do we have to go?
We can Google it, but
Like if I'm in
Yeah.
front of you and I order an 8-piece bucket of chicken from KFC, all
You
4
have-
of the people behind me have to each order when they eat
no,
it.
no,
or
no.
they
You
share
order,
it?
you share it,
Okay.
and so this 4 of you split it, but like it's RNG, right? Because they could order nothing in front of you, or they could order a fuck
And then
ton
after
of food.
KFC, you go to like Wendy's and do the same thing.
Yes, exactly. And then
I'm
Jack
down,
in the
bro.
Box.
That sounds hella
and
good,
then-
actually. My
and then
fat ass is down.
You do all that shit.
Yeah, let's
back
smoke a
to
bowl
back
before
to
you do
back.
that. That might have to break the smoking fiend for
Fuck
that
you,
one.
Brody. Don't say that.
The
God,
record is 17,385 calories
between 4 people.
Yeah, Ludwig, Aiden, Falco, and Slime.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I'm down. I'm IRL streaming from the minute the plane touches down. This entire thing at BlizzCon, from the headquarters things to everything, the whole thing. So everybody will see this.
If
It's gonna be nuts.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, down. That's all gonna be sick. BlizzCon's gonna be tight. But Ice Crown Citadel is next week.
I'm gonna pee real quick.
Is it?
Be back.
Yes, the perfect time for Crix to head out. Ice Crown Citadel is next week, and I wanted to get you guys together to essentially talk about how people can go in prepared and try to be as successful as possible, because clearing the entire raid on heroic is just not a thing for 99.9% of people. So to be as successful as possible. And that's everything from tips, I guess, on each boss, but like anything that they should do beforehand right now, or even on launch to start preparing before we even go into bosses themselves. And I'll start with you, Pummel, and then go into you, Joardee, because Jordee's been doing all the boss guides.
And Joardee is the boss guide guru.
Pump it up.
I mean, I feel like at this point, people kind of know what they need to do heading into a new tier, and it's coming with a game plan. I think the game plan should reflect the ability you think your raid has. Like, I have a raid I'm doing that is probably going to do 7 out of 12. Well, I have a second raid that I'm running that I have less time to do, and I don't know some of the people, so I'm planning on doing 3 out of 12. So coming in with a goal in mind and really knowing how to do those heroic fights, because it is a big difference, except for loot ship, from normal to heroic. But really just knowing what you're getting yourself into and how to be the most successful. Because if you're spending a lot of time wiping on like heroic Putricide, it's gonna break morale when you could just gear up for a little bit and do like 2 out of 12, then 4 out of 12, then 8 out of 12, and build up as a team. So that's important.
Absolutely. Joardee, do you have any initial tips before even like heading into the raid for people?
Yeah, like Pummel said, I made a video kind of doing what Pummel was just implying, was like figure out what you should be focusing on based off like your raid's performance in the past and how much time you have and all of that, and kind of like make a plan. And then work on assignment sheets and know that you've got your consumables sorted and kind of get all the things done that you need to in order for your raid to be successful. For my GDKPs, we're probably doing a meeting ahead of time to go over like tank and healing assignments, just so that I know that those important roles are like up to date on like the stuff that they need to know, because I would say there's a lot more tanking and healing mechanics in ICC than general. And those people kind of being up to speed is going to cut out a lot of the bullshit. You know, like how threat works on Lady Death Whisper, or spreading out on Sourfang or whatever, you know, stuff like that is going to be really helpful. Because you only have so much time, you know, we're dads, and I mean, none of us are dads except Crix, but well, most of the game is dads, so Crix don't look like that.
It's like,
Guilty.
So I'm a dog dad. Does that count? She's right there.
that counts.
So yeah. And then yeah, if you're looking for an assignment sheet, I got one for you. Hit me up. I can give it to you. I don't know what else. What do you think, Crix?
I wasn't here when you guys started the conversation. What was it?
What are you thinking about like preparation? What are you thinking mentally, or anything you're going to do to be ready to enter into ICC?
Well, I'm ready because we've already done it. But I'd like Joardee said, I'm in all of his GDKPs as well. I have to miss my fusion raid because my son has his last game on the exact fucking launch day. So I'll put all my characters in the GDKPs, all 4 of them, and it's just knowing the fights. I think, like he said, we're going to get together and force everybody to watch a video. Our GDKP server has done a lot of PTRing. I've done a lot of them with them, so a lot of the people rostered kind of do know the fights, which is very comfortable. But my first opening week is all GDKPs, so I'm personally ready. I'm just excited for it. You know what I mean?
For your
I'm ready to
GDKPs,
go.
how many heroic bosses and which ones do you guys think you're going to be actually taking out?
I mean, even the ones that we did, which weren't put together by like Joardee or Joardee raid leading, which obviously he's going to be a better raid leader than like some of the other people in there that were raid leading because he knows all the fights better. We were able to do a chunk of them. So I'd imagine with Joardee in there, I mean, actually raid leading it, people paying attention. We're going over the bosses ahead of time like he plans to. I don't see us having a lot of troubles until towards the end. to be honest. I think Putricide is going to be kind of annoying. I think that's always going to be kind of annoying.
Oh,
what do you think?
You're going to do Putricide in your GDKPs week 1, Joardee?
No way.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that one's going to be kind of fucking rough.
I thought you said 9 out of 12 in the post I saw.
Yeah.
I depending on how much time is going to change it. One of my runs we're going for like 6 hours, so we probably won't do some of the harder ones. One of the runs is 2 sessions of 4 hours each, so we'll probably go for some of the harder ones. I also got to feel it out as we go, right? Like, do we one-shot Marigar? How many pulls on Lady Death Whisper? Stuff like that. And then you'll
I
kind
would be
of
astonished if we wiped all those, considering we're
Lady Death
full
Whisper
pub in
is-
that Discord and having
Lady
no
Death Whisper
problems.
can vary wipe depending on.
Yeah,
like,
true.
I would.
We have some gamers in there, though.
If
I
you
wouldn't sleep on
can,
them that
if
much.
you can one-shot Lady Whisper, you're doing pretty good.
You're in a great spot.
Yeah.
The
So
boss sucks.
So yeah, I think that we're gonna shoot for Lady Death Whisper, we're gonna shoot for Deathbringer Sourfang, we're gonna shoot for Rotface, Festergut, Belithria, and then from there you can kind of decide what you want to spend time on. I almost don't want to do Council and spend more time on Blood Queen because of the tier.
Yep.
Council
That
could be
kind
annoying
of
too.
Council has a lot of things.
People's brain shut down on that fight. It makes no
Totally.
sense, dude. It makes no sense.
It's frustrating because there's just a lot going on,
Yeah.
and people just don't understand. And I don't mean to say this, but I think the boss guide will go a long way for Council because there's just so many things, and I explain everything kind of slowly on the boss guide, so hopefully that helps. But so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You got to feel it out. I'm gonna go for like 5 or 6 at least, and then go from there.
Is
And
there-
then, get Heroic Lich King? It'd be easy.
Is there a point where, so I was thinking this before seeing the proc rates of the Nibelung staff, a point where you just like, and I think in your average guild really should just like skip Lady Death Whisper week 1 on Heroic if they didn't test it at all, just so you can see the mechanics and see the ghosts and stuff, because it's so easy for the raid to wipe and spend a ridiculous amount of time there. Do you think you'll have no issues there, or do you think it could potentially be one that you see a lot of groups skipping?
For your average group, you probably should skip Lady Death Whisper. If you spend any time on the PTR, it's going to go a long way for her because there's a few small things that if it will make the fight a lot easier. Number 1, and most importantly, is don't get hit by fucking ghosts.
Yeah.
And so like as I'm raid leading, and it's just ghosts move. Like I don't fucking care what you're doing. Move away from the purple fucks. And if people respect that and aren't trying to parse and just move away from the ghost, you'll get a kill. You will. And it's like phase 2 is really easy so long as you're not getting hit by ghosts. And so I don't know. We'll see. If people can respect it, then it'll be easy.
Yeah, I think that's the first. I mean, I guess we can go back and we'll talk about Margar in a second, but that's the first fight where it's like, this is the second fight of the raid, but it's one of the harder ones in the sole sake of it just takes coordination and you to take yourself out of the equation of like, I want to pump and just dodge the mechanic. Like the enrage timer is like semi non-existent. If you can kick the boss, if you're doing that strategy, then your tank won't die. And all you need to do is deal with the ads and CC the MC target. So every now and then it'll MC 3 targets. And
Wait, doing what strategy? What does that mean?
there's a strategy floating around of DK tanking Lady Death
Just
Whisper.
eating the frost bolts?
I thought I've seen
runic
people post
power?
YouTube videos about it. I'm not
The leaker
whistleblowing.
continues.
That's not leaking out because there's already
What?
YouTube videos everywhere.
I hear water drip.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're gonna kick some of them. Like
So Scotty J brought it up on his podcast. DK tanks could just eat them and run away from the boss the whole time.
and not get the debuff.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. It's fine. Who cares?
It makes the fight a lot longer. So I doubt you'll see it in any sort of
just
race
use your
thing.
feral. It's like boom, done. You're easy. Like whatever.
You just
I
icy
think-
touch.
I think just being able to do damage and not eat ghosts, and you'll kill the boss. Because
Literally.
Like, it's literally ghosts.
it's
Just
literally
you
the
see them
ghosts.
spawn.
yeah,
And
like it's
you
not
move.
it's not
People are
only
gonna eat the ghosts. people are going to eat the
The
ghosts.
ghosts are
100%.
untargetable.
It's just crazy
they don't
that
have
they-
nameplates. Like
Yeah.
you just have to, when they spawn, you look left, you look right,
It's
like
like
crossing the street.
It's like how many people in hardcore die in Sunken Temple and AQ. I'm sorry, AQ. No, CG from those fucking ghosts. You know those blood or whatever witch doctors that spawn the ghost afterwards, and then in Sunken Temple, you'd be astonished at how many people get hit by that when we're yelling that they're gonna come out. It's the same mechanic.
Yeah, but it's more. It feels like
Everyone one shots you.
It feels
instead of
like
2,
it's,
3 shots.
yeah.
You.
There's just going to be a lot. Really, the fight gets a lot easier in a couple weeks when you have a lot more HP.
Yeah.
Right. That's really what it is. Is like, I think a lot of groups should probably just skip past it because you have a ton more HP in like 2-3 weeks. That makes it so that if you eat those mechanics, you're not dead. Like a lot of things are a lot less punishable.
10-mans first too. You know what I mean? A lot of people.
Yeah,
I'm,
do your
I'm
10-mans
happy
first,
because I get to do
totally.
10-mans on all 4 of my classes before I do my 25-mans.
Doing 10-mans first
gonna feel
will
great.
be a huge power boost.
Yeah.
And that's going to go a huge
Like there is so much good. I'm doing the warlock gearing guide thing, and every kind of just video out there, you see all these people talking about 25-man loot, bro. There's so much 10-man loot that is just so fucking good. Pummel pointed out a lot of it too when I was watching your video. Good video, by the way. And it was like there's so much loot. No one's even mentioning the 10 because everyone's all just like gung ho on what my bis is. I have to have the weapon off of KT or not KT, but Lich King. You know what I mean? But it's like, yo,
No, you're not going to get it. Most
yo,
people, you're not going to get it for a long time.
Ways to
I'm
get
doing
it.
the
And
same
people
thing.
are coked
It's
out of
like,
their mind thinking they're going to kill Lich King Heroic week 1 right now. I know some people will, obviously, but I'm saying like there's like the people who are like you just know they're not going to get it. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to get it. Something's our guild gets it together. Like no PTR practice. Didn't even go on normal. Not even 10-man. Even 10-man Heroic Lich King is going to be rough, I think.
I just wanted to say, Hands wanted me to say that one thing you should do is bench all your unholy DKs week 4.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Why not make him go frost at that point?
He said
He
that-
messaged me week 2, and I said more like week 4, and then he messages you.
he's very mad about it, and he wants
He's
me
like,
to
do I
say
reroll Ret or Feral? Or Hunter sends me a screenshot of all the characters that he has at his disposal. Sarthe, how do you feel about that?
Unholy DKs and warlocks are absolutely, like we talked about it, Joardee. Unholy DKs and warlocks are going to carry your progression, and we talked about it also, Pummel. Once everyone has like tier 10, and your unholies can respec to frost, you're going to go frost unholy. You keep 1 unholy DK for Ebon Plaguebringer, and they'll be fine. But like they're going to be stronger than everyone at the beginning, and everyone will catch up pretty quickly. So that's like the big thing. So yeah. I mean, in very serious raids, they're going to like filter out really fast. And in the average guild, you can be running your unholy DK for like a month to 2 months. You can run multiple and like a ton of them if you wanted. But as soon as you get like a lot of gear, like everyone catches up and surpasses them. They don't scale nearly as well as everyone else does.
So you're going to be replacing your extra Unholies and keeping a token one because we feel bad. And then we're not going to do anything to the locks because they scale and crank.
we were talking about
Wait a second.
Pum going made.
Yeah,
We'll see-
that's what
we'll
I
see if he
fucking
goes
thought.
mid.
All you warlocks, you're out too.
I
was asking what, like, in a speed clear world, what necessarily would I have to play?
We go mage for sure.
Yeah, all of you mages.
See, I
you have
started my
a
mage
demo
3 months
mage.
ago, and now it's my most geared character for this exact reason.
Yeah, my mage is 255. It's ready for ICC.
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole reason I started mage because I know what happens in ICC.
Sad.
Damn, you guys are just flavor of the month.
Well, I don't
over
mind
here.
the mages. A mage is a lot.
I'm very flavor of the
Yeah.
month, and
I have never changed classes once.
Yeah, we can
Disc
talk about
Crix.
Technically, I didn't change the class.
Much to
I
the
still play a
chagrin of
warlock.
my guild. So
chagrin. What is?
It's a big word. It's a big word for Pummel.
It's like
Oh wow, yeah, good one.
it's like adamant and disheveled.
Mhm.
Oh, another adamant.
Yeah, well, Disc Priest has been really good. Double Disc Priest. Joardee doesn't like the double Disc Priest. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's yeah.
It's not worth.
Don't know until you try.
We did try.
Yeah,
No,
I
we
was about to
don't.
say, yeah.
No, we tried a
52%.
holy hybrid. It's not dis.
What do you get?
It's-
Whatever. I'm not getting baited into this. Let's move on.
Okay, all right.
Mage
So
time. Mage time.
yeah,
Remember, stack 12 mages.
you're all
You
gonna
heard
go
Joardee.
mages unless mages get nerfed for Lich King phase 2. Speedruns go like as many mages as humanly possible. Lord Marogar, the first boss in the raid, is kind of a nice opening to the raid. It's like pretty easy. Like almost every group should be able to kill it on heroic, and you should be able to do it week 1. Pretty much everyone should go for it, right? Do you have any, like, what would you say like the biggest things to watch out for, or the biggest things to think about on that fight? I'll kind of
literally only Bone Storm, because I feel like people know they know it's coming and they know about it, but they have to get hit by it to find out. Like, oh shit, I just died from that. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably watch out about that. You know what I mean?
You should pull up some Bone Storm footage.
Everyone gets hit by it, yeah.
For these.
But the people just sit in it. That's why I love all my classes.
The guides are
probably
probably
out of it.
good
Yeah.
if you do the guide or whatever. I'm not trying to pimp.
This is a good time to plug his
time
shit,
to
though, so.
pimp out Joardee. Joardee guide. Hi, my name is
Just Bone
Joardee.
Storm in your run, you know what I mean? I feel like spread around like you're supposed to, and you won't get super
Bone
scuffed on it.
Storm.
Let's see if this works. All right, I have it in the background, quiet, and I don't have our faces anymore. Lord Marogar. Let me see if I can find a way to put all of our
What
faces.
a great
somewhere.
boss model.
It
It
really
actually is
Where'd you
so
get that from?
aesthetic. What the heck?
Wow, model viewer?
This for the thumbnail or in game?
No, that right there.
Oh, you know where?
The model viewer?
Oh, you can't
Retail.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, not retail.
say. You know where.
The specific illegal server.
Just get imposing like that.
Yeah, the
dude.
Bone Storm. The thing about Bone Storm is it hits everybody. You just need to run away from it, right? But I
The
think
closer you are to him, the more damage it does. So spreading out so that not everybody's taking max damage at any one time is the way to go. And then there's some sort of logic with him targeting the person furthest away from him. I don't know exactly how it works, but there seems to be working mostly like that. So we just kind of spread the hunters around the room,
I think
ping pong them around.
Just move from it, because people don't, and they just sit on top of it for some reason, thinking that it's not going to kill them. Same
And-
the fire. They just get hit by fire. They don't move.
You're not going to die to Bone Storm, but you will die to the fire. So just dodge the fires and try to stay away from him. And
Fires are the killers too, especially when
the
you're running
fires will
from the
kill you.
Bone Storm into the fire. You're kind of like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. So every time he chooses a new target for Bone Storm, he sends out 4 fires in like kind of a cross direction. And if you're running in to continue DPSing him because you're trying to pump in for your parse, he's going to drop the fires directly on you, and you're going to take a lot of damage really quickly. The 2 ways to die to this boss are mainly those, right? It's going to be the fire and Bone Storm at the same time, or if you get the spikes in any of the normal phases where he spikes 3 targets randomly and you're in the fire. So you have a bone spike ticking you down and you've got fire, you're just going to go down.
Easy fight though. You should absolutely work on it week 1 heroic.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah,
You
the
don't have
loot's
too much- You shouldn't
good.
have too much trouble with this.
Brain Troll's cool. There's like a Abyss ring off him if I recall. No, maybe I think that's what's the gunship, right? I think it's gunship.
Loot ship.
Loot ship. All right.
Loot ship.
Lady Death Whisper, Joardee. These models are so good, man. I can't believe you can get these on retail.
On retail.
Yeah. So Lady Death Whisper, phase 1, you're burning through a mana shield that the boss has, and the boss isn't moving at all. It's just randomly casting shadow bolts, and you're dealing with the ads at the same time. What would you guys say are some of the easier ways to deal with this encounter, phase 1 specifically, to start?
Group them up and AoE them down.
It
Watch out
sounds a
for the
lot
cleave that
easier
happen when they mind
said
control
than
somebody.
done.
You gotta watch. You gotta stop. I mean, not really. Just stop when the mind control happens. So you don't fucking cleave down whoever gets mind controlled, right?
Positioning
First
your
set of
raid
ads
is-
that comes out. Yeah.
Positioning your raid can be really huge, right? So that the ads don't stop in Narnia, so that like you LOS to make sure all the ads actually come in. If you have enough Death Knights, you can grip them all in, which is really, really convenient. And then every now and then they will suicide and turn into stronger versions, right?
They're immune to certain things. Yeah. Some will be immune to magic or physical. Luckily, there's weak words that tell you.
Yeah, so
And
you
pay attention to them so you can see them, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it says physical," but it's like not paying attention to it. You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to die to early on in this phase. People are going to die to either like an ad that just runs by and whomps them because the fanatics hit really hard, or mind controls. When the mind controls go out, you like need to cyclone the MC targets and not kill them. And in your pugs, someone's just going to like spread diseases, or like a mage is going to turn and blow someone up, right? Like I think it's just going to be this fight is honestly no joke because of like phase 1 is easy, but then when you get into phase 2 and the boss starts moving around, and now that you're fighting the boss as he's kiting around the room or whatever you're doing, you have the ghosts. Like the ghosts go off in every raid. I've literally watched every quote unquote top guild in the world stream this, and they just eat ghosts too, right? Like, we're just gonna look really quickly in this VOD. Joardee, as an example,
I
that
ate
was
a
showing
ghost!
it, but you're to show it, right? But that's an example. Like, it's like almost every time the ghosts come out, like having a CD, they're the melee are the biggest offenders, because you're clumped around the boss. And the melee are going to eat it. If people watching didn't notice, those last ghosts did blow up on the melee, and that ghost just blew up on the melee also. And another ghost is,
Listen, this is early on. We were
Do you have a
learning.
reminder on that? Watching your threat.
yeah, but
People always do that. They pull up our VODs of our first polls and be like, look at the ghost. He ate
where do
it.
I have this? No, I think this was just as a good example. Right?
No, we're not mad at you. I just
Oh yeah, yeah. Not about. I
Just
just meant like in general.
just
Like, people-
defending ourselves from
Yeah.
the internet.
And
yeah,
like
people-
I want people to understand, is just that like this is a really good guild that is doing, yes, it's their early polls, but like it's showing it so you can see it. But like even then, think about your average pug, your pugs, right? Like you can't downplay how much people are going to eat mechanics on this, and if you're not rotating, calling a lot of like raid wide CDs, they're just gonna die. So early on, this fight is really a lot more challenging than it should be for your average group, because of the coordination of just not eating the ghost. So like really get it in your brain to just move. You can stop
See, what
DPSing
makes
completely.
it difficult is a lot of the pugs are not, like, a majority are GDKPs, whether they're expensive or cheap ones, and in order to get in them, you need to pump, and people know that, right? So your mindset is, I'm gonna pump as hard as I can, and then you just pump too hard and don't see a ghost. Or in that fight specifically, threat is reduced as the fight goes by, right?
Yes.
And you're not paying attention to your threat. Maybe the pally's not paying attention to salves or whatever the issue may be. So it just gets rough there.
The GDKPs that Crix and I are in, I find have really, really good players. That, like, I think GDKP, I mean, it depends on your run, but GDKP can often bring a lot of good players together because they're all incentivized to do the mechanics, because killing the boss faster and cleaner means the pots go up. Everyone wants it. You know what I mean? Whereas in guilds, it's like, oh, I know we're going to do this eventually, but I want my parse. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting.
I think people should be rewarded for good mechanics.
Loot council, absolutely.
Loot cancel, or maybe a little more gold on GDKPs instead of like who's pump. And a lot of people do incentivize pumping because they're like, I'll get the highest damage or the highest healer or whatever. But do mechanics. Person who interrupts the most, decurses the most. Look how much decursing goes on in the raid,
so
or
much
whatever.
work to do.
I know, but
I hear you.
if it helps, find out what's hurting your raid, or say you're chain wiping on this one. Whoever gets
Totally, that's a good
gets
idea.
hit by the ghost, take a cut from.
If you're
them or
having an
something.
issue, then
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. It's hard to obviously, go through and notice who all is doing everything. But like when you're looking back at logs or something, you notice who's playing well, who didn't get hit by a bunch of mechanics. And then usually it's like you re-invite them. GDKPs they realistically assemble like a lot of the best players, especially in the earlier weeks where you're like have full assignments and rosters out early. Like our GDKPs will probably go all 11, I would wager. All 11 of 12, some maybe.
How many of those are just pure Nota though?
But our
I've watched those EU
Ours are-
GDKPs are ass.
Ours are like, our early GDKPs are basically just recruiting ourselves,
which is fine. It's just, most aren't that. Most are, conglomeration of random people that.
Yeah. And those, and like the conglomerations of random people, I really think should do this boss on normal. This is just because you see the mechanics, you'll eat the ghosts and you'll see it happening all the time, but it won't kill you. It's not that scary. And then you'll be like, okay, so next week when we go in here, you really need to dodge this. And also people have more HP,
I think that everybody should. I think unless you're just like, and if your raid is garbage, right? If you have a half a brain, just throw a couple pulls at it. Try heroic once or twice. Do it once. Don't make it out of phase 1. You're like, oh yeah, this is not going to work. Then just go ahead and drop the normal. But there's no hurt in trying, right?
Yeah, there's
I wouldn't say waste your time and do like 12 pulls and then switch for like, one or two pulls on it. You go there and you do one pull. You're like, oh, we almost made it to phase 1. You do another one, you make it into phase 2, and then you can, go maybe once or twice more. But that if you know your guys aren't going to do it, don't waste your time on it. But if you're kind of like, yeah, I think we can just throw one pull at it and see how it looks. Do it, man.
Yeah, it's like the easiest boss to be an early time sink, and you don't want to fuck up more early.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Did you make a
I'd rather spend
high spirits about it too? If you guys wipe, don't be mad. Just like, all right, well, hey guys, we're just gonna, like Sarthe said, come back with more loot and more stamina, more yada yada. Don't worry about it. I want to see other bosses.
I'd say that Sourfang is probably the same difficulty as Lady Deathwhisper, and his loot could be so much more important because of tier and DBW.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna spend time on
There we go.
something, that's the thing to spend time.
Kelpex, thank you.
I want to nibble on
Yes,
that for my mage, so
Yeah, Sourfang is definitely and it's easier for morale if you're further in the raid, right? Like if you're stuck at the second boss,
You got a lot
I think
to do.
Yeah, I think Sourfang is easier than Lady Deathwhisper for most people, just because of it gets easier with
you can
gear.
cheese it.
It gets easier with gear. Yeah.
Say the same thing. You can cheese it. It depends on what you bring to
Loot
it.
ship. Everyone should do it on heroic.
Whose video is this?
I don't know. You don't have a video, right?
On Gunship? No, I don't.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a huge waste. I just pulled it up. This is pretty well done. This person put a lot of time into this.
You want to link the video and give a shout out a little bit? Instead of just being like,
Well, yeah, just
pay
pulled
some
it off.
respects to who it is, boys.
Brett Stefani.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So for loot ship, it's super easy. Even if you don't have if you don't get a shirt on, and if you don't know, so there's the shirts that you can equip that allow you to rocket boost over to the other ship from one to the other. If you don't have a shirt on, all you need to do is run across like the wings, and you can jump across to the other side. And then to get back to your original ship, you just jump off the other ship, the far ship.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it just teleports you back. You just literally jump off.
You don't
ship.
die if you jump off. It just ports you back to your ship.
Yep.
ship.
God
I've
damn
been a
it.
caster on this fight because
So
you can sit on
annoying.
the edge and just dot everything up. I love this fight.
Oh my god.
Nice little free fight too.
It's
Good for morale. And it drops
very
good
good.
loot.
Very
Yeah,
good loot.
good loot. Oh my god,
spy
my
glass
fucking PC is just
Game
spazzing.
Bis ring for all casters, including healers, drops off of
There we go.
ship, so-
Jesus.
The rapid ascent is insane.
You spyglass.
Yeah, so a lot of insane loot off this boss.
And the abacus?
Everyone can do it on heroic.
no.
Tom's like, shut up. I don't want to know.
It's gonna be like soulless. Like it's really cool, and then you get like 2, and you're like,
You want 3
Sick.
ish. But yeah,
oh,
you don't,
3.
it's not an important trait.
Well, we
Yeah.
should probably get 4. 1 for the holy priest, 1 for the rest of shaman.
Your abacus. Yeah.
Unless they fix it. Remember, if you have a pet class, that you need to resummon your pet when you get on the ship. Off the ship.
Yes, you do. You do need to.
He wants the threshold for some reason.
You need
So it's
to
hard.
resummon your pets, and then you also need
scared.
to resummon your pet when you like go to Sarfang. So and I guess the main mechanic of this fight is literally whatever ship you are on, if you're Alliance or Horde, you jump into one of the guns on the ship and you fire it in, like, you press 1, which is like a normal fire, and it stacks up your energy towards 100, and if you hit 100 you overheat and lose it all. So at 90 you press 2. I think it's 2. It's basically like your execute, and it uses all of it to do damage to the other ship. And then every now and then the other ship has a mage come out that will freeze the guns, and you just need to defeat the mage and jump back. That's why you jump over and you jump back. It is really easy. It's yeah, super fast, literally surprisingly easy. You'll be shocked about how much of a joke this fight is. So
I accidentally started it, and we still one shot. Like nobody.
Yeah, I was about to say we've had people accidentally do
pretty
it and do it too. Cool. So before we go to surfing, because fuck loot ship, someone asked a bunch of times, so I want to get to it. Can you ask if Sarthe, can you ask if anyone can confirm if Resto Druid's spamming marks works on LDW Ghost to get threat? I heard it has healing threat.
It does have
I'm
threat.
curious about, because so do the ghosts in Sunken Temple.
Yep. All of the
Sarthe, Joardee, have you noticed that as a
work
healer?
like that? All the mobs that work like that do have a threat table. So they will target someone and they will have a little bit of threat on them. It's like a hidden threat table, and they will it's not a fixate. They have threat, so they will change target. And that is how it will work. So
Do you have that? Did you see that too, Joardee?
Yes, but it's not super important, because there are going to be a lot of times where a ghost lands next to you, you're in melee range of it, it appears, and then it'll turn and slap you because you're the closest person. And so, like, sure, you could. I mean, I'm probably gonna be proven wrong by this. You could min max this probably to maybe try to like avoid it by having somebody spam some shit. But I'm almost positive the first couple weeks you're not gonna be juggling that. It's like just avoid them, walk away from them, and you'll be fine. Like they're very like. When she casts it, she throws purple strands of spirit out. There's 3 of them, and you can see where they're gonna land before they spawn. So just move away from if it's nearby you. You know what I mean? Like all that matters. Literally, the only thing that matters that phase is avoiding the ghost. Like there's nothing else that's going to wipe you.
There's
Just
2
do
things
it.
that someone just said where he said, and I felt the same thing on my Shadow Priest. I felt like I was getting a lot of aggro from the ghost from VE, from Vampiric Embrace, right?
Yeah.
And as Priest can fade him too, and the ghost will just like leave you alone.
I think in the
Both
end,
of those are big.
I didn't see if anyone tried this, but there might be a way of like having a paladin with Righteous Fury off in some corner doing some shit that builds a ton of threat. But like just dodge, literally just dodge it. Just dodge it. Like
They're easy to dodge. Just slower
dodge
shit
it.
you just run. Like Joardee said, you literally see where they go. Like it's actually kind of crazy.
I think the curse is almost as important as the freaking
decursing.
ghost. Yeah, because like if you get hit by the decurse, then you can't cast the ability for 15 seconds. It's like incredibly toxic.
The decurse in phase 2 is pretty mild though because there's half the ads, so you shouldn't. I mean, it's important, sure. Yeah,
that means it's even easier to decurse if there's less of them.
Sure
Mages,
thing.
boomkins.
Sir, dude, mages are so bad at it right now because they just want to pump. No disrespect to the mages out there, bro. Please decurse.
Don't go FFB on that fight, or I will scream at you.
Yeah, and
I'm with you on that.
And what Keon just said also, it's at least for anyone's I don't think anyone's been able to track the API of the ghost threat, so you won't probably see a weak aura that'll like tell you you're targeted by it or something. You're gonna just have to like actually open your eyes and move for now, at least, for sure.
Weak auras yelling at you that ghosts are out though.
Yeah, they're out all the time. They're out
it's
all
like
the time.
every 10 seconds.
They'll tell you when they spawn out, like ghost incoming type shit. Ghost ink.
Yeah, so
Just look around.
So
So you just literally look,
literally
zoom out and look.
that fight is just a take it slow. It really is. Like if you want to get it down and you're progging it, it's like let's just focus on doing the mechanics. That's it. Don't worry about stressing our DPS, and it's dead. That's like straight up, you'll get it. So just dodge ghosts, dispel the decurse, you'll get it.
Threat. Watch your threat.
Yeah, and watch your threat. Then you go and you have
than you
a good
usually have to
time
by a lot.
because you slap loot ship and you get some insane loot, right? And then you get to go to Sarthe, the first boss that most groups should probably spend time progressing, right?
Am I tripping that I didn't think this boss was that hard?
If you had a
If
really
you had
good,
the right, like if you had, like
group.
I am a big voucher for Destro Lock as one of my warlocks, not on my demon lock, but my affliction lock will have a Destro off spec. I feel like Blast Wave help, Typhoon helps. I feel like a lot of stuff helps a lot with this fight to make it way easier.
I
Yeah,
think
go,
it's one
Jordan.
of those fights where it's just sensitive, right? Like if anybody fucks up, it's probably a wipe.
yeah, it's like
But
over.
Nobody's job is hard. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just one of those fights where there's just not a lot of room for error, especially week 1. As DPS, sure, it's pretty easy. You're kind of just killing the blood beasts and then beating on the boss, and you
And
don't have to do
dodging
anything.
them.
Yeah, moving from the blood beast
You
if they're going
have
to
to
hit
move
you.
from them. That's a big deal.
Ideally, you don't move and they're dead before they use to you because of the explosion.
Can you
But
explain
the
that
Nova-
mechanic to people?
So he's got runic power. You can see on his bar, there's 100 power. It's kind of like rage. And every time he does damage with everything except from his melee attacks and Mark of the Fallen Champion, he gains power. And so for every 1 power he has out of 100, he does 1% more damage up to 100%. And then once he hits 100 power, he will target someone and do Mark of the Fallen Champion on them, which is a persistent physical dot that person now just has for the rest of the fight. And if they die with it, for whatever reason they die, you heal the boss 20%. So I think it's more than that if he doesn't have Mortal Strike, but whatever.
If one goes off, you pretty much wipe.
Yeah, you
Like-
can't have anybody die with the mark or you lose. So it's just a sensitive fight because you want to be taking as little damage as possible from the boiling blood and the blood nova and ideally 0 from the blood beasts. But you also want to have like ways to deal with the Mark of the Fallen Champion because it gets very hairy when there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them because the paladins are going to be beaconing the first 2 or 3, and then what I'm recommending most groups do is DI the 3rd or the 4th person and soulstone back up, because then that person can just sit in the DI, not take any damage, and you don't have to worry about healing that person. Yes, you remove them from the fight and they're not doing damage or whatever, but you're going to find that it simplifies it a lot. So yeah, it's a weird little fight. It's very important to kill early, in my opinion, because of DBW and because of that tier that you're going to want to get. But yeah, just follow your assignments. I think it's going to take DPS a lot of time to learn how to deal with the blood beasts, because they're going to be they're kind of sensitive in their threat. So you want, ideally, DPS spread out in a semicircle around, like you saw in the video, and then you're attacking the one on the other side of the boss, like across from you, because that's maximum distance for it to run towards you if you get threat, right?
Yep.
So
very important, because if you hit the one right in front of you, you're pulling threat and you got to move because you can't get touched by them.
Exactly.
And they cannot be AoE'd, because it's like 95% damage reduction on AoE, so you're you have to single target them down.
Exactly.
That's why I said Destro Lock Shadow Fury is so big, not for the damage, but because it stuns them into a blast wave, into a typhoon or whatever. And then the ads don't go anywhere, which means none of the DPS need to move, and it's just that much cleaner.
Yep, exactly. And that it'll get way easier with some gear. They'll just get vaporized by the assigned people. But early on, it'll take a second for you to kill them. So, if they hit anybody, it's likely going to kill them, and then he'll get a bunch of runic power, and then you're going to get more damage going out, more Mark of the Fallen Champions, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, this fight, it snowballs, right? Like if things start going wrong, it just gets worse and worse. Once he gets to really high energy, you're probably going to need some tank cooldowns also, because he's hitting really hard when he's at really high energy. And another thing is, these blood beasts, just if you can deal with them correctly and have whatever your order is, like Joardee was saying, with like bopping or DIing to deal with the marks, then that person who gets marked and gets DI'd, technically, yes, you're out of the fight, but like you killed the fight. And that's like more important early on, especially because we don't have the gear to just like outscale these mechanics. So it's a fight that it's going to be the first. I mean, most guilds should probably spend, if you haven't done progression in ICC yet, this is like one of the good places to spend a lot of progression looking at, because it is a challenging fight that will become a lot easier when we get gear.
I think it's a pretty fun fight. I play all the casters, so it's just a lot of fun for all the casters. I like it a lot.
If you're DPS, it's
pyros,
just a rotation practically. Like, it's like patchwork. If you're a healer, it can be.
If you're melee, it's a rotation. If you're a caster and you need to deal with beasts, it becomes kind of a challenge.
Some melee, you just
not
don't
particularly. You just
anything.
hit the high target beasts and don't get hit by them, right? But if you have the right CCs in there, you're not going to get. They shouldn't be even making it down the steps, right? But I know there's going to be a lot of people who don't do that. They're just I've been in plugs where there was
calls.
there's no fury, there's no there's no blast waving, there's no typhoons. We've had just guttural trying to kill them before they reach them. And that sucks, to be honest. It's just a lot easier to have a little bit of help from any of the classes that can do that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of times when I was on my warlock and I had aggro on like 2 of the blood beasts, and then they'd come barreling at me, and so you can human racial the 100% or like the 80% slow, which is a cool tip.
I didn't know that.
If you're
That's
arranged
cool,
like that, so that's kind of nice. Found that on my warlock. Yeah, we're insane. Thank you. Our insane human racial. And then secondly, the blood boil debuff. If you have the whatever blood boil icon looking debuff is, and you use like bark skin or anything that reduces the damage you take, that's less energy going into Sour Fang. So he does less marks, makes the fight feel smoother. And you can bop those as well. So I would save the bop for somebody that gets mark, isn't DI'd, and gets the blood debuff at the same time, because that amount of damage with the mark plus the blood boil debuff, a lot of the time will kill them, because it's way too much all at once. So save your bops for that. Maybe you can use 1 or 2 in the beginning, but later on, those are going to be really important when you're in the execute phase and he's enraged.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Krat die here.
Yeah, because he has aggro on the close one. So like
And you didn't move.
Yeah.
just always as ranged, like Joardee was saying, is when you're DPSing these, DPS the one that's literally as far from you as possible. Like where Krat is, he should be attacking like the blood beast that's off in Narnia. And he kind of like hides. It does get knocked back, and he kind of walks a little closer to it, and it will clap you. It will.
It can also be hard. In his defense,
He
it
got
can be a
the
little
debuff
rougher
too.
for Mage
Yeah.
because the Mage has Living Bomb on the bot. If it blows up right when the ads spawn, he's kind of just like, oh shit.
Pretty
Does
sure
it?
he
Gotta be a
blocked
little careful
there.
with
Maybe
Yeah,
a
he
blink
had-
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, he did
Human
everything he
racial.
could've-
Not very
It,
like criteria.
it was early on.
Joardee just threw him in this video, and he's like, "Look, now watch
he
crap
throws in
die."
arts all the time.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Sarthe does it to me too.
I did. Whatever. So this is a great fight, but you should be able to deal with it. It's one that I would say if you're seeing yourself spend too much time on it, just skip it. But it is a good one to spend some time to prog through it. On your guys's like the raids, the pugs that you guys are raid leading, the GDPs, do you plan on all of them dealing with this fight?
I'm gonna spend time on this no matter what. Yeah, even if we don't get it, I'm gonna spend some time on it because I want to get it early.
And Pummel, you're probably gonna not waste time on it.
I think we'll put some attempts into it because one of my raids is 2 days, so we might as well put some attempts into it and see how far we can go. But I want to try the DI stuff because most of the fusion runs we just brute force our way through it. So I haven't tried the DI stuff yet on the marks.
Yeah, the GI stuff is like everyone's.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah, not having all that damage of another person you have to heal, like especially because you don't have the extra beacons too. It's like just knock them out. After this fight, most people generally run to the left. I think in an average group, it might be worth it to run to the right and kill Valithria and just get some loot. But I don't know. Usually you run to the left, you go towards the Plague Quarter, which is Rotface and Festergut, which are going to be the next ones you deal with. So I don't know which one's on which side. Festergut.
I think Rawface is on the right. I think he's probably the third easiest of the thing. He's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Festergut's a little bit harder. There will be guilds that can do Rawface and not Festergut. But
It's just people paying attention. I feel like it's not even a lot of mechanics. It's just people don't pay attention to them or something.
yeah,
Makes
there's
no-
a cone.
Makes no sense.
There's
Yeah.
a thing on the ground.
The spores.
There's just a ton of little things.
All right, quick TLDR over the fight. Joardee, go.
Pummeled, go.
Pummel, go.
Or
Crix, go.
Festergut?
Rotface, the one with the oozes.
sorry, I
Festergut?
literally was
Oh.
I mix them up all the time. I mean, it's
I
like
know,
tank,
I know.
kite,
Festergut
and
is the
circle.
spore.
Tank, kite, and circle. If get slime, go to kiting tank.
Yep,
Move for slime, go boom.
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Yeah,
That's
that
the
new
fight.
that's all right.
That is literally it, too. That's what's crazy. He's not trolling.
Yeah, so you get a debuff, and the debuff will, I mean, I think it can be cleansed, can it? You get a debuff, and when it's cleansed or when it runs out, a little ooze will spawn near you, right? So the little ooze will then just target you and chase you. What you want to do is bring it to the big ooze that you're seeing right here. The big ooze will be tanked by a tank that's running around in a circle just kiting, and basically it has like a little bit of AoE that it does, so don't stand right on top of it, but you keep combining little oozes onto this one until it explodes, and the explosion will then target every player in the raid, I believe, their current location. So once the explosion goes out, all you do is run away from where everybody was. So if no stand off in this corner, everyone can run right there. None of the explosions will hit this, and you go back to fighting the boss. The boss also has a frontal cone, like a slime spray, where he pretty much throws up on people in a direction. Just get behind him, and the room at certain points will fill up with green goo that will like block off a fourth or half of the room, and that's essentially the whole fight.
Nicely done.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the entire fight. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, so this is
Dodge
definitely
things.
definitely one of the easiest fights in here. If you get the mutated addiction, just run easy. And then like Joardee just dropped one of the oozes, and then if you end up like the oozes don't combine because they kind of like have like MS and they don't combine early, you could have the tank kite 2 big oozes and you just totally deal with it. It's not that intimidating, but usually the little oozes do go to the big ooze. You see how it's like kind of laggy, what you guys are going to see in the background right here. It will happen, but yeah, you just get the big oozes and the tank runs him around in a circle. That's it. And then when the big ooze explodes, everybody runs to a new position. I feel like this boss is like you slap it.
It's pretty easy.
I think it's easier in Festergut.
It's easier than
Definitely,
Festergut,
definitely.
for sure.
I agree. Festergut's kind of annoying. I don't think it's annoying. I think it's annoying because people don't pay attention to it, the fight. A lot.
Do you have any tips
Also-
for dealing with it?
For this fight, I think the biggest thing that people are going to run into is just the off tank not understanding how to kite the things. You just kind of want to go back and forth and do kind of like a laps without running over the green on the ground. and then when the big ooze explosion happens,
Mhm.
you want to desack, and everybody it's kind of like Algalon. Everybody's standing in one spot, and then you move a little bit, and then you just don't get hit by where it landed once the ooze goes out. So it might take a couple to figure it out, but I would be surprised if people have too much difficulty with this one.
Yeah.
I think they might wipe like once or twice figuring it out, and then they'll get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you just kite the ooze so you don't face tank it, and just if the raid leader just does the call outs and like says like you call out when a big ooze is exploding, and then you just the raid leader or the main tank is like we're all moving, everybody moves to the left together, you all just move over there, you all dodged it, you can move the boss back to the middle, now it's dead. Collect loot and be like, damn, we're good.
Profit.
And then you go to Rotface, who's like,
And it drops
yo,
DFO, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
DFO.
Yeah, DFO for this is good. So that's big trinket that you can get on 277 early.
That was Rot Face, by the way.
Well, yeah, okay.
Festergut.
Then you go to Festergut. Sorry. Yeah, then you go to Festergut, who's on the left. And this is more of a challenging fight. It's not necessarily like one of the harder fights in the raid, but it's definitely a step up from Rotface. Crix, your turn. Go.
This fight is we've been here a lot and wiped like more than I would like to admit, because people don't understand, or like you spread out as the range, like everyone's spread out. Melee is obviously in there, but everybody spreads out, right? And then these spores spawn, and you got to run under the spore so you can get a shadow resistance buff. So when he does his big ability, and then you have spread back out, right? Which people for some reason don't understand the spreading. And then that malleable goo, or however you say the word, throws this goo down, and you can literally, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. You can see where it's going to land. Like if he's throwing it
right there, yeah.
he's throwing it from up top, and nobody moves from it, and it's the worst thing ever because it's like the longest cast reduction in the world. It's just really irritating. I
forget what this debuff does, like 75%
Bro,
cast reduction or something.
Crazy, yeah. It's ridiculous, and it really sucks
Cast
because if
speed
you
slow
like
and melee slow.
if you like devouring plague on like a shadow priest, when you have it up, it turns into like 120-second dot or something like that, and you can't override it again. So you're
250.
250%.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's going out like pretty consistently. But you see those like it just showed on the screen. You see that green like orb on the ground, and you just dodge it. It's super obvious. The big mechanic, is the 3 spores that go out. How do you guys like to deal with the spores? So 3 people get marked with spores randomly in the raid, and everyone in the raid needs to get the spore debuff from these as soon as the spores explode. So how do you guys deal with that?
Exactly what's on the screen right now, where 1's in melee and 2 are out. The only tricky part is sometimes all 3, 1 won't be in melee, and someone needs to go, oh, hey, run that to melee. Like you'll see them get screwed because they're like, oh, I'm already way out here in range. And you just take initiative and run it in there, right? So some classes can out soak this, like a shadow priest. They don't really,
And then once these go out, once this explodes and goes out, spread out again also is another, like, I feel like some people are going to be in like a daze, or they're just going to be like zoned out and not think about spreading out again. And then the malleable goo will come and blast everybody. And if you get a malleable goo right as it spawns, I don't know if you guys are doing this, but do you guys suggest like just running, or do you wait for the spore buff?
The whole group moves together. If you see it.
Yeah.
Like if it was a spawn right there to the left of them, but on them, they all just move to the right, and that you just have to be vocal, whoever has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, there's the vile gas or whatever that's the real reason you're spreading out too, like because it spreads to everybody else, which you can human racial off as well. But that's the real reason you're spreading. Yeah.
And the debuff, how would you describe how it helps everybody in the raid to make sure everyone gets it? Joardee,
Shadow resistance.
do you guys use
How would you describe it?
CDs when it?
Yeah, so it reduces the amount of shadow damage you take by 35%, 25%, and it stacks up to 3. So Pungent Blight does 80k damage or something. So 75% of 80k is whatever that number is. And then you desack and AM Shadow it. Actually, no, you can't resist Pungent Blight, I found out. So you desack it, and that should cut some of the damage. And if you have an immunities like Bubble or Dispersion or block, whatever, and you can ignore the spores entirely, and you should, because fuck it,
Less moving.
less moving is good, and then staying spread out is good too. So it's a fun fight. It's a little dance. I like this fight.
One of my favorite ones, actually. I don't know why. It just is.
Yeah, I agree. It's really, really hard to heal. There's a lot of things going on because it goes crazy from raid damage to tank damage, back to raid damage, back to tank damage. So you're doing like raid wide damage mitigation cooldowns into tank damage mitigation cooldowns and things. You know, it's a fun one. And I don't know, the fact that a giant flesh beast is just farting out all this gas over and over again is funny to me.
Doesn't he
So
say?
The voice lines are priceless.
Yeah. What are some of the voices? I feel like I never hear someone says it in comms, and I'm like, oh my god.
If you the YouTube video, when I zoom in on him, I have this like ridiculous line he says
at the very beginning. Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing that at the beginning of the videos. Work like Festergut.
What an incredible voice line. Festergut the baguette.
He literally just throws up on you.
Yeah, and then Rotface is like talking about poop.
Yeah, well, yeah, Rotface is
A lot of people
pooping.
consider Festergut.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Average Roth Classic enjoyer.
Yeah,
It's a vibe, dog.
in the Loot Prio guide, Pummel and I are Rotface and Festergut on the front page. So I thought that. Have you seen the guide?
No, I
yet?
haven't seen the final version.
Let me send it to you.
Just be good with those spores and run in. That's like the biggest thing. Besides the Malib, I don't know what to say. The goo that you see is gonna land. One, you can look up and like target him. Not target him, but you can like look your camera up and see where he is on the X up there or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he throws it and you can watch where it's going to go. But it's also just running. People like are so, what's tricky is they're focused on where that goo is going to land. So they forget to run in with a spore or vice versa. They have a spore or the spore's out there and they're going to run to it, but then they're not paying attention to the goo that's going to be right there. And then the whole, it's instantly a wipe. If like all the healers, like they're all grouped together, the healers get the goo, it's literally a wipe. Like you just have to wipe and go again because it's 250% slowed down healing, right? On their cast for heals.
Yeah, it's as long as you can just deal with them again. It's one of the easier fights, but it's harder than the last one. But it's just like it's a dance. And as Joardee was saying, there's a lot of like raid CDs or raid or healing callouts that can be done when you're switching DPS and whatnot. Loot Prio, guys, go to their Joardee and Pummel's, what's it called again? Patreon. Brody, thank you. Go to their Patreon to get this. When are you guys releasing it completely wide, or are you?
Tomorrow
For everyone. Oh, I need to. That's gonna
Brody
be
with the 10 gifted, the goat.
I love you, Brody. I need to mute it though. It's gonna be so. There we go. It's gonna be. Everyone's gonna hear the slurp sound line forever.
You got to turn it on multi-gifted.
I do. I used to, and then
You liked having multiple.
I
What happens when Toxic gives 100? Then you're fucked for like.
I talked to him about that. Yeah, I'll show you. I told him to do it. So
There you go.
we just accept the
That's such a
slurp.
Sarthe thing
we
to do.
embrace it. We embrace the slurp.
It is. I'm really bad at setting those up. I'll write it down tomorrow.
That's not going to do anything, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the thought.
But boom, slap through Rotface and Festergut, huge. And now you have Professor Putricide. I would say if you haven't done everything on Heroic by now, just don't do Heroic Putricide because it's like a huge waste of time. This is like, it's just you're gonna spend a lot of time on it. And it's going to get a lot easier as you get gear. What do you guys think on that? How do you feel about Professor Putricide moving into the raid?
Keep it.
Actually, a fun fight.
Very
It's like
fun
a very
fight.
fun fight. Like especially for Warlock because you're rolling corruption on PP the entire time. But like, if you get hit by the malleable goo and you have your corruption up on the boss, you can't re-overwrite your corruption, and now it's like 50 seconds with your minus 20% haste. So it's really annoying. But
didn't know
otherwise, like
It's
it's
the
very
same with like DP for Shadow Priest and
it's
VT.
Anything that snapshots that gets rewritten, it becomes a lot longer. So it's a very fun fight. That's just nitpicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you were saying, if you haven't tried this fight on the PTR, you should not do this week one. It's just too much. Like I'd rather you spend time on normal Lich King than this. You know what I mean? But it's really fun. Warlocks are really good because they can dot the green ooze before the phase 2 or the transition debuff goes out, which really blasts them hard. And then they've got summoning circle stuff to move away from the ooze at the last minute. The Unbound Plague is kind of a pain in the ass, but if your healers will start to figure it out eventually. It's a fun fight. It requires a lot of individual responsibility. It requires you doing the mechanics and not tunneling the boss. And then phase 3 went from like, GG easy to a crazy ass blast, which will get a lot easier with gear, but it's a tough one.
This is a pretty fun. This is one of the funner fights.
Yeah.
I thought so.
One thing I think is big for damage on this fight is that the person that is taking over the giant A-bomb does a lot of damage. Make sure they're utilizing the A-bomb actually, because
Big slurper.
Yeah, the big slurper does a lot of damage, so make sure they're pumping. You have to deal with the oozes. It's 3 phases. What is it? And every time he summons both, like as he's phasing, he summons 1 green ooze and 1. The green ooze will target someone and that person can't move at all. But you can teleport out if you're a warlock, so you can get out of it, and you can also vanish as or feign as it's getting close to you, and then it'll just retarget someone. But once it reaches you, it'll explode and it'll split whatever damage it does between everyone that's right there, which is a ton of damage. So and knock you all back in like whatever direction you are compared
and
to
it's
the person.
split with pets and snake trap actually, so hunters get a lot of value here.
Hunters saving, yeah, that's actually, it's super clutch. Hunters snake trap can save your raid. You can use CDs to like try to save yourself. If you're in like the worst position ever, maybe just sacrifice the person instead of going for like trying to save them and then like 3 people going down. And then the orange ooze will target someone, and when it reaches them, it'll explode and pretty much wipe the raid. But
it's definitely hard to recover from that.
But you can just run. You just run away from it, and the person that's controlling the abomination will just slow it. So you just run away from it. You can rocket boot and everything. And during the transition, you'll get marked. You'll get a buff or a debuff that tells you that you do more damage to one of the oozes and not the other. So then you'll just target that one and then go back into the boss.
Yeah,
Such a fun multi-dot fight.
I'm not sure I'm gonna get the guide done for this one in time for launch, but it is a great fight.
Yeah,
I'll get it done, I promise.
Yeah, this is a very fun, hectic fight. I think everyone should see it on Heroic maybe, but I would wager this is like the first one that it's like for if you're not like really pumping, it's gonna be a waste of time. It's gonna be a time sink that's like you're gonna struggle to get it, especially the early weeks, and you can just come back here a little bit later. Things so much easier. Like everything gets so much easier.
You definitely want to see it on normal first, just because it's gonna help that much, you know.
Yeah,
it really will. Because there's a lot of stuff, and yeah, you can
and
dot
you
them
lose
before you get the debuff.
exactly,
Anything
and
with
you
the
lose
dot can dot
attempts.
them before they get the debuff. Yeah,
this is the beginning of getting the attempt. So you have 50 attempts for any of the end wing bosses, including. So that is right here. We also have Blood Queen, and you have Syndragosa and Lich King, and 50 attempts to get all of them on her, and then the Lich King leaves. And if you do all 50 attempts, the Lich King like fully leaves. Like it's not like you could just then do it on normal. He's gone.
Yeah, you really only have 49 attempts.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was gone. You can't do
he
one
fucking
normal if you fuck
bounces.
up. That's crazy.
Foolish mortals.
Does Sarthe count for the tempt thing? I don't think it does yet. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he drops tier, but he doesn't count as the attempts yet. So he's yeah. The Lich King will bail. But yeah, this fight is really fun, hectic. Watch the guide when Joardee finishes the guide. Shindig has a guide out that you guys can check out now also. I can post that. So this is a good one, and I love this fight. I do. I think it's really fun. I think it's going to be wild. Don't go for your parse and just go for living. It's another one where it's like go for like living. There's going to be ways of it making it a lot easier in the future. I'm a big fan of those eventually. Once we get gear and like, instead of the very first time to down something, you kind of like deal with it correctly. And then when you're geared, you're like, how can we try to skip mechanics? Yeah.
Blood Prince. This fight is... I fucking love this fight.
Like you were saying earlier, this is a fight where I feel like is a harder one.
Yeah. Because there's so much going on, and you know what? There's a lot of things going on in the classic community. Shuts down.
Yeah. Every single one of these 3 bosses has a mechanic of very specific mechanics, but one that like gets empowered when they are like the boss to kill. So this little red orb will be focusing on one of them, and just basically one of them will have HP at the beginning, right? And then every now and then it'll do a switch, and the other bosses will have 0 HP and you can't do anything to them, and the other HP. The main one, or the first one, will do like an AoE shock vortex, whereas anyone you're near, you hit them with it and it knocks you back, and it'll one-shot you if you don't spread out. So you just need to spread out. The fire guy on the right,
12 yards.
The fire guy on the right, which is, I need to hide my face. On the right, this guy does an empowered flame orb, and it will hunt someone down, and it slowly gets smaller over time, and as other people absorb it, it's a hard way of saying, but like as it moves through people, it'll shoot out little sections of it, and it'll just get smaller. So you need to get the fuck out of there, or it'll
one
destroy
shot
you and destroy everyone.
It'll chase somebody, and it'll one shot you if nobody intercepts it a little bit to lessen the damage on it.
Yeah, siphon it. Perfect. Exactly. Yeah, it'll one shot you, and it'll blow up with people around you.
Skip to the part.
Oh yeah. Okay. My name is Mr. Joardee, and here is the video.
Talderam.
It's a good Joardee impression.
Skelsa.
It looks so dope too.
It's Kelseth, right?
Talderam.
Talderam. All right. Yeah, so this orb is, that was a clutch. You threw that in of Pummel clutching it? Okay.
Pummel's a clutch.
Almost a
So
clutcher, dude.
Thank you.
Call them clutchums.
to distract
Skip to-
Clutchel.
We can talk about some Pummel stuff later in the video though.
All right, we'll watch the flame orb. All right, yeah, there's the flame orb being summoned, and it's the flame orb is a big orb, and you need to run away from the flame orb. They all do have multiple abilities, but who cares? It's the flame orb that's gonna wipe you, and this shit will destroy people.
Multiple things that'll wipe people in this fucking.
So
There's
you
that big ass
stack-
orb right there that's going away.
You stack, and then it only targets range, and if you get targeted, you run away from the raid. Not like that. That was bad.
Yeah, and so everybody else just got blown up and destroyed. But that's like the big thing for this one is the orb, and you saw the person just ran away. So it goes through the raid, it siphons down and gets smaller, and then it doesn't blow up and one shot the person, or if it's huge and they're in the raid, it'll just one shot like everybody around you.
I don't know if snake traps will soak this one. Actually, that's a good question. I bet you they can.
I would
might.
anticipate so, right? I mean, they'll take like one soak and they'll die, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The other mechanic that is very quick to wipe you is the thing that Pummel saved earlier. There's these orbs, these kinetic bombs. Which part of the video do you have that? Do you know?
The first one.
Okay. The kinetic bombs that were falling down.
Balinar.
Shock vortex. And everyone's running away. And you see this bomb right here on
You
the
can see
left.
a couple of them right here.
Yeah.
You see a few of them.
If these touch the ground, they explode, knock everyone back, and do a ton of damage. And
It's a wipe.
you can live it, but it's really hard to recover.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a wipe.
We managed to get the kill after one hitting the ground once, but it's not.
They are
It's not fun.
ridiculously easy to not let them hit the ground because you can send a pet on them. You can send a warlock pet. You can send a hunter pet on them. Any kind of just little instant cast. Boomies are great at this. Anything that can just instantly hit it once, it'll go back up.
It's hard too
You just
because
put-
of the
you just put pets on it.
the shadow prison. Like everyone gets knocked around, and then you take damage as you run back into position. So
Yeah.
And there's multiple of them the longer the fight goes on too. So you just gotta keep it up in the air the whole time.
Yeah. There's 3 at one time, I believe. More?
It's more than that. It can go
there's
more.
like 4 to 5.
Oh my
How long it
God.
goes?
27 of them at one time.
Yeah.
And if you're a warlock,
It's really helpful with the pets.
And-
What pets do you recommend putting on? Fell hunters first because they do the least amount of damage. I
They
think
last-
I think a Felguard is great too because the demo. I don't know about like you guys, but like we have a lot of demo locks tanking the other ad that Sarthe hasn't talked about yet. And if you have if it's your turn to fight that ad, like if he's active and you send your Felguard on it, he'll cleave the dark nucleuses. So you usually want to have, and you can't have that. You don't want them to die, right? Because you will. Sarthe will explain in a minute. So I always like to put the Felguard on one of them right away too. Helps a lot. But Fel hunters do the least amount of damage. Hunter pets can go next, but
yeah, you
pets really.
You start with warlock pets, fell hunters for sure. One thing to watch out for: make sure that you don't press your send it or pet attack macros or whatever, because if you accidentally change targets and send your pet onto the new target, you just wipe the raid. This will happen a ton.
Yeah, you pet classes that love to send their pet in on Yogg tentacles. Watch it.
Yeah, you're gonna
would do
wipe the
that?
raid, so don't do that. That's gonna be a really big thing to deal with. Honestly, if you can deal with the kinetic
I
bombs,
just wouldn't do pet attack macros anymore. I stopped doing them after
Yeah.
incidents. So I just wouldn't do them anymore. Yeah, there's no
Yes,
point.
sir.
Just send it in.
Yeah, but like also if you send in your pet manually, that's also a habit on this fight to not do when you change targets, because you're probably like very used to changing targets and pressing you send your pet attack or whatever you do for it. So just be ready for that, guys. It's a thing. So that is a large part of the fight. If you can deal with the kinetic bomb and the fire one, those are like the 2 hardest mechanics, I would say. I don't know if you guys disagree. And then there's also a Shadow Prison, which is every time you move, you get a stacking dot on yourself that makes you take more damage for like 10 seconds or something. So every time you move, that adds up. And if you have like 15 plus stacks, you're really, really hurting yourself. Like DBM is going to yell at you for like 4 or 5 stacks. Once you're above like 9 to 10 plus, you're hurting yourself, and healers are really needed to divert their attention to. But this reapplies on server tick. So you can move and then stop and it won't reapply. So you can get like a weak aura or something, like a lava tracker weak aura or something, and get away from it.
You have the trick with it is where it becomes difficult is you have to move. That sometimes obviously like you're gonna have to move. Like when it switches to the other guy, you have to stack for the flame thing, so everybody's running and stacking. Or you're spreading in the beginning 12 yards. You want to be spread out for 12 yards so you don't get knocked back. Where you can pre-spread ahead of time. Obviously you can, but you're gonna have to adjust a little bit. And it's all that natural moving. A lot of people just move when they're playing. Melee are always moving when they're playing, or you're moving in between casts or some shit. People will lot of move and you just can't move at all.
Yeah, and DKs can AMS and just juice up a ton from these, which is awesome. It's great. So
Versions.
Yeah, you can use mitigation whenever you need to, especially if other damage is out. One other thing we didn't mention is there's this non-empowered shock vortex that will be spawned on a random, semi-random location. It'll be spawned on like a player basically, and it'll just be in a location just blowing up.
You're not tanking Cal is the main one.
Yeah, and
I think the non-empowered shock vortex is the single deadliest mechanic in this fight.
Really,
it is so hard to see. And you'll just eat one and be like, fuck. And then you're out of position and then you die and the fight's over. They're so like stealthy, these things.
If you,
they're hard to see. They're really hard to see.
Good comms are huge.
A bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good comms are huge.
Good comms are huge. So, you know, like it's because DBM is going to be wrong. It's going to say or like shock vortex on me. It's going to be wrong. At least for now until it's updated and better. So just call it out. Just say like it's in range or something, right? It's like it's in range, it's in melee, call it out. That is definitely a big one. And then the final boss, there's the third boss, Prince Keliseth.
Nice.
Damn, I'm good.
Really good.
This boss will do shadow bolts directly on a target. He'll just shadow lance, and when he's empowered, these hit for a ton. So there's these little orbs around the room, the dark nucleuses, that will target whoever hit them last. And when they're targeting you, they'll be chaining a debuff on you that will make you take less damage from magic stuff.
35% less damage per one that you have. So you have one tank doing it. We use a demo lock. You don't have to. You can use a shadow priest. You can use a regular tank if you want, but it really helps to have I like having a caster on it because you can just do any cast at all, like a rank 1 corruption, anything in the world on the nucleuses, and it will stay on you forever. So as a demo lock, they have, we tank it. You know, I went and got the Brew Fresh trinkets because it gives you 3,400 more health and it keeps you beefy. Put some stam gear on and just face tank it. And so at the whole fight, you're running around, you're portaling where you stand, where you fight. You're running around grabbing the dark nucleuses with, rank 1 corruptions or whatever. Nobody can hit them at all. They have very little health. Like your Felguard will cleave it if you're not paying attention. When your boss becomes active and you guys have to start hitting them, mages stop living bomb. That's the #1 killer of them. Because they naturally just put a living bomb on the boss and then it blows up and kills the nucleus, you know what I mean? And you're just sitting there tanking.
Yeah.
Just keep nucleus on you. The more you have on you need at least 5, I believe, or 4 or 5 on you. And the more you have on you, the more shadow res you get from it.
And
so there you'll be able to take
3 is a good number. Any more is helpful, but
you should have no problem having more than 3 though.
Yeah.
Assignments like this. Oh man, this is great. I love that you showed this. Having assignments of where people are going to run to on the first boss is so useful. So you don't destroy each other. Does Living Bomb hit the Shadow Orbs? Because other cleaves
when we wipe
doesn't.
on there, we see that I'll look in the death log or the damage taken from them, and it'll be from a mage. So it could be maybe they're maybe they fuck up and bomb the nucleus, and I'm not sure.
I don't
Cleave,
think
hammer
Living
wrenches.
Bomb does.
Sorry, go for it.
It's like pet cleave.
The
Your pet can cleave it.
Chain Lightning, Multi-Shot, and Hammer of the Righteous and Avenger Shield all does.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like DK abilities don't, so don't worry. Turn off Felguard Cleave. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you should just have Felguard on a kinetic bomb, in my opinion. But yeah, you can turn off Felguard Cleave.
And if this tank dies, battle res them fast, and you need clear comms that someone is going to pick up Dark Nucleus is fast, because Prince Keliseth, if he's empowered, he's just going to start one-shotting people. Like, it won't be a full, like, you can recover, but he's going to start just one-shotting people quickly. Every cast is going to just dump someone.
If that tank dies, it's usually like almost a wipe because you can't
Yeah.
like you have to immediately get. You don't have enough time to get this up right away.
Definitely.
It's a pretty much, but he shouldn't die. And you can get bad RNG and like because the boss fight starts with the same boss attack every time, but it's random on who he goes to. And so if they're not paying attention, they don't have the nucleuses, or maybe they died somehow, or they killed them, and they don't have them. By the time it switches right to you, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You can keep Demo, you can keep Pelgar, you can keep DP up still and put it on a bomb. You just gotta look. You just look. It's dropping so slow, it's ridiculous. Like if you mess that up, you're kind of crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I really like blood tanks tanking those orbs. I think they have such an easy time with like grip and taunt, and they
I'm
just take
yeah,
a lot
a
less
big
magic
fan.
damage.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
You'll,
blood
you'll
DKs.
end up one tanking the 2 melee ads and then probably DK tanking the caster ad. But I don't think early on you really lose much to not have a tank on each and then a third caster on Keliseth. So it's just probably safer. I don't know.
I think it's fair. It's like move through whatever. Like this is one of the fights that's definitely the first, like it's a step up, right? Like, I mean, I guess Putricide, but yeah, this Putricide are steps up in difficulty, mainly because it's just a lot of coordination. Yeah, a lot's going on.
This fight's just super overwhelming walking in. Like, remember Illidari Council the first time you ever pulled it? It was like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening?
It's a lot of mechanics hitting you all at one time. Whereas the other fights are besides Putricide are like, okay, here's a mechanic. All right, in 20 seconds, here's another mechanic.
Yep.
Here's another mechanic. This is like here's like 5 at the same time.
This is one of those fights where you're going to wipe, and then get it. And it'll be like,
don't sleep on the bombs. Those connected bombs are sneaky. That's what I feel like almost one of the main.
A lot of
things
people
wipe
fuck up those. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, so that this fight is hectic, but it's doable. Early
It's
on,
very doable, yeah.
maybe opt to not spend ridiculous amounts of time on here and then go to blood. Probably even more doable, and it's an N-wing boss, so you're getting tier.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
But she requires some DPS. So if your DPS is doing their job and pushing their buttons right, she's very doable. If you're behind on DPS as a raid from your medium to high end guilds, you're gonna struggle for a bit. But I don't know. She's a cool. I just finished the guide for her.
About the bite. Who you get the bite to?
All the bite.
Just finished the guide for her started, and I'll post it in the morning. But it's a fun fight. It's cool. It's the DPS. You actually lose your parse will go down if you get the bite, right? Because you're fucking around with shit, and it's
bite's not on there, right?
Yeah, so
it's normalized like some of the other things have, but like we don't care about that for progress.
Yeah, look at the details.
We should talk about the fight because some people might not know what you're talking about with the bite, right?
Yep. So Blood Queen. This is the final boss of this wing, the Blood Wing or whatever. This boss is definitely doable on heroic, but to start the fight, there's going to be the 2 tanks are linked where they're kind of sharing damage. This link goes out a little bit on like proximity. So if they're really close to each other, then they get linked. So don't run in on top of your, gonna get wonked. And then the boss will bite someone, which is basically turning them into like a vampire slowly over time. And it makes you do a ton more damage and you can't build any threat. And it'll bite someone that's either the 3rd or 4th on threat, not aggro, threat, like the numerical threat numbers. So like you might see people on your threat meters be lower, but their range, so they have like their 30% little safety net. It'll bite one of those people, and then that person will be able to do a lot more damage for 45 seconds or something. And then
100% more damage.
When that timer ends, you will be turned into a vampire. Essentially, you'll have one ability. It is to bite someone else. You have an assigned bite target. You bite them, and then they can do much. And so one thing that's
tell you who to bite to, which is like very helpful if you're like, who do we do this with?
Yeah, I think all like GDKPs and pugs will just have it like everyone download it, because you should have assignments for that. The one thing to note though is when you do bite them, they take a ton of damage. You can ice block and bite through ice block. I think you can bop and bite through bop. So like if the bite lines up with the next ability that the boss does, which is like every now and then, I think it's like a minute, maybe it's a minute and a half in, and the boss runs to the middle of the room and will start flying and start AoEing everyone. So you won't really be DPSing at this point, especially melee.
Bloodbolt whirl.
It'll do Bloodbolt whirl, and this is a splash damage AoE that like if you get hit and you're standing next to someone, they take extra damage too. So you just spread out and then move back in. You might want to use raid CDs Joardee, do you guys like to use?
DSAC it for sure.
Yeah,
All
DSAC
the
that.
DPS, AMS, IBF, Markskin, Shield Wall, whatever,
Hellstones.
Yep, and if
all that shit.
It's the only thing that has a bunch of raid damage going out. It's a really easy fight, I think. You have the bite, you have that world, and you have the little whatever that smoke shit is, where you run to the outside and you drop it off. The shadow.
Swirling shadows.
Thank you, swirling shadows.
And then,
you just run it out.
pack.
Like I think this fight boils down to who you're biting and why it should be affliction locks. I mean, wait, what?
You know, people always ask, what is the bite order? And I think it's a pretty simple answer. Whoever your best DPS is, because some guilds it's their warrior, some guilds it's their warlock. I used to just say fire and feral, but
Oh yeah, I was
when
gonna
you
say
get-
fire,
when you-
feral, affliction.
when you have a class like
Nah,
a
you're unholy
specific-
DK though.
yeah, specifically
like-
not your unholy DK.
Yeah, unholies are a
Definitely
bunch
not
of
your name.
dorks. A bunch of dorks. Their pets do all their damage. Cry about it.
A good feral fucks with the buff.
Hunters
The fire mage does.
can
Your
do a
affliction
lot.
warlocks can snap their corruption with it, which is why it's good for affliction locks. They'll pump hard with it. I don't know.
Shadow
who
Piece
goes
is
into
cool
that.
with
What
it.
have you
A lot of
seen-
healing.
What's
Yeah, true.
what would be? Are you allowed to say what's the? I mean, yeah, your guys' logs are public. What's the highest damage you've seen someone do with the bite, and what class was it?
It's like a 20k fire mage, I think, but I think he was
Crap-
using
crap
cheater
bombs.
gear.
I saw a 20k affliction lock in another run too.
Yeah, 20k half lock.
Yep, corruption snap.
Ladon almost did 20k on his hunter.
On Hunter,
He got
right?
the
Yeah.
Don't say
bite.
his name out loud.
Yeah.
Don't say his
Yeah,
name.
Ladon almost did 20k.
It's gonna get that clip.
Okay,
and
those are-
his ego is gonna just get.
Those are
inflated. It's
some
terrible.
really.
He did well.
Yeah, gargoyles don't benefit, so your pet class unholy DKs are the worst target for it, unfortunately.
Demos are ass too for it.
I haven't
to be
seen a
honest.
feral get it first in our runs because usually we were like tricksing the mage to give him the little.
I heard that you guys
threat.
had a ret paladin using
Oh,
righteous
it's- that-
fury
the-
early
the
on to make
clip
sure that
will
they
be
got
in the
it.
box.
That's
Clip's in the
so
box, yeah.
epic.
We had a feral get it in our runs, and he was slapping feral.
We
mage
had a
and,
warrior.
We had a warrior
Warlock
D
is fine.
stance. The only time you'll ever see warrior sunder.
threat off the ret, so he got it.
Smart. This is going to be the thing in GDKPs. People are going to cheese and try to get it.
Well, the
you're
thing is,
just
it's
gonna-
not on your log, so at the same time, just you know what I mean.
You
It's
don't
normal-
want the
it's
first
normalized.
spike
Yeah,
if you're
so-
details parsing because you're supposed to wait with the first spike to like desync it with the air whirl or whatever.
Yes.
And, so you don't kill
Details
someone.
parsing, is that a term? It's funny.
Yeah,
He-
people
it's weird.
details parse.
Yeah. So what Pummel's referring to is when you get turned into a zombie or whatever, and your only ability is to bite someone, vampire. Sorry. Yeah. Don't do it right away. If you wait, and I think it's 5 seconds on the first bite or the first and second bite are delayed, then the bites won't be pairing up at the exact same time as some of the other mechanics that we were talking about. So you won't like have people die. It's really, really helpful to not have bites going out at the same time as raid wide damage is just pumping.
Yep. Because the bit people generally have to run around to find somebody and will splash the blood bolt whirl, and the bite itself does 10,000 damage. So eventually this won't matter, but for Prague, don't just wait the 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Also-
remember the Silithus geyser and Silithus? Can I just go turn that in for a damage buff?
Yeah. 5%.
Yeah.
Am I flagging myself if I do it?
Oh.
Yes, you are.
I've never
Fine.
played on a
Goes
PvE
out
server and gotten it.
I'm not gonna do it. Sorry.
Yeah, it does flag you though.
Okay. I'm gonna do it.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, Prague, give it to a mage and a Pharaoh, unless you have a good affliction warlock, you can give it to him too.
Yeah.
If you have an affliction warlock that you know is gonna do play it right, then they'll fucking eat. All three of those will eat pretty well.
Yeah. So I would say Blood Queen, I don't know if you guys agree with this, is something that you could probably get down here than Blood Prince Council.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Like if Blood Council was a 10, this is like a 3 compared to that. I don't think Blood Council is a 10, by the way. I'm just in
if
perspective.
Blood Council 6 is probably a 4, I guess.
I'd give it like a 5.2. Like a nice little.
I think
That's
this
the whole
still
point.
this
Repeating,
still
of
has
course.
some mechanics. For DPS it's a lot easier. For healers, it's a fucking maniac of a fight. I know. Okay, I see the eye roll. I see it.
I
I'm
love
just
that
saying,
because I love hearing
its
about.
fight is hard as shit. There's a constant ticking 4,500 damage aura. There is the Pact of the Darkfallen. If people fuck that up, then they're taking a crazy amount of damage. There's just a ton of.
You might have to fuck
shit.
with the bite stuff to get it down. Like you might. fuck
How
around,
many
wipe a couple
healers
times
do
trying to
you
get the
run?
bite down,
Because
that's it.
you have to,
5.
and because you have to have enough DPS to beat the enrage.
You can't run more 5. Or like 5 is
Yeah.
Also, there's an argument to be made to not go disc on this fight. Disc is really bad on this fight. It's just constant ticking little damage, and the
Double
shields aren't really
holy?
going to save anybody. So double holy could be the way to
Restos?
go.
What?
Resto Druid does really great on this.
Resto Druid does anything on this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, your disc can just go shadow.
Justice
and then
for the resto druids out there.
Joardee shadow, and then you have your boom, and you lose the boomkin buff.
Oh, it's all terrible.
Yeah, I got the buff the boomkin one time and it slapped. It was pretty cool.
Does it increase your healing?
I don't know. I wasn't paying. You think I was paying attention to my healing on a DPS character?
Yeah.
All I knew was Starfires.
I would. Yeah, I would say, yeah, we mentioned the strongest classes to get the buff, but it's whatever your raid has, right? Like whatever's the strongest in your raid.
Is hasted, but Shadow Word Pain also is garbage. So yes, it is hasted. I mean, no, it's not hasted at all, actually. It's just you can snap it, but Shadow Pain is still, I mean, it's just a gross dot. It's like one of the worst dots in the game, but it's not hasted.
Shadow Priests are having a good time in this raid.
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait till fire mages get all of their tier and then get this buff, and like Feral also. You're just like, this boss is gonna be, in a few weeks, this boss gets like infinitely easier. It's another one that like your DPS numbers and your HP is so much higher that like everything gets easier. Like you're not gonna die to kill you quickly during the bites. And then also your damage, you're just like, what if someone dies? You're not worried about hitting. For now, the enrage timer is gonna be really tight. But that's gonna change massively. So you definitely can get it.
Just stack like 8 warlocks and give them all the buff. You're good to go.
Lust at the end when everybody's got the bite too. Don't listen
Oh
to
yeah,
the
that's
beginning.
big.
Unless
I feel
you're
like the only
parsing.
fights you lust later. No. Even with the buff, like
You lust at the end.
Lust at the
lust
very
when everyone
beginning
gets
for your
buff.
unholy DKs, guys.
DK.
Listen,
took
you had
take the S
3 phases of you can sit on the bench. He's like, I'm not
Right,
going to.
right,
He's
right.
already got his
He's like, I'm
Feral druid
re-rolling
up.
cat.
I was rerolling warriors, so I'm gearing up the warrior. So what are you playing?
No, the
now,
warrior-
He's going
The warrior is
Feral,
a
bro.
meme.
You already know.
To have fun with friends. I'm going Feral.
You already know he's going Feral, dog. You saw how much he cried about that
You
nerf.
really should go Fire Mage if you want.
Right? He was leveling. I don't know if he's ever gonna play it.
What a meta chaser.
Bro,
What do
you've
you-
seen him with his warlock, dog. I can't wait to see him on the main.
It's not a surprise that he does that. That's
You have to do that.
Yeah. The biggest surprise is he didn't play Warrior in Vanilla. He played
Do you
Rogue.
feel
Yes,
it?
but I
Have
was
you been,
able to beat like on North America. It was fine, right? Like I was like 7th on the like in the world of or in NA, right? And it was just 6 warriors that were higher than me, and none were even on my server. So like if I played warrior, it'd be better. But like I wanted to play rogue, you know. But like
I just
yes,
gotta
if
say,
I played
Sarthe,
again, you can't usually. It's just like there wasn't anyone on NA that was, or many people on NA that were better.
Listen,
Sarthe, you look really good right now. I think you're doing a lot of cardio, doing all that meta. That's all I got to say.
yeah. Out of breath all the time.
I can't wait to see him play mage.
And be like, this is so chill.
I live for the moment.
I don't know. I haven't done anything on it. It's Roach Ketchup and Nax. That's not true. What? I wish that was true. That was
they lose
yeah.
in
That's where
Nax.
the gap really widens. The gap's over. But
I had 3k DPS on my Warrior on Thaddeus. I'll have you know.
fucking
Don't say Thaddeus.
pumper,
That's a trigger
dude.
word for Sarthe.
Pumping.
Like you did a 10-man like recently, you hit K. It's kind of
No,
big
in
for you.
Vanilla.
Mage is actually good. Yeah, Cormulus. Mage and Feral Druid are like insanely good in this phase.
Mage is amazing.
And
Excellent trash damage. Good boss damage.
if
Feels great.
if they
I'm gonna get so sick of them already.
if they don't
Why?
change how Lich King phases work, speed runs will end up running like 18 mages or something stupid.
Can't wait.
there are
So
they've
hopefully
been
they
cocky
fix
forever, and now they're like actually like
They're
bona
so
fide
cocky
like
all the
giga.
time.
Remember
and
how
they're gonna be
cocky they were?
stacked. They're gonna, they're
It's
so,
the most
they're gonna be so
triggering thing ever.
demanding.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be
I don't want to hear
the,
Deary
the
already.
year of the mage.
I can already hear Deary in my
They
sleep.
deserve it. When have they been number one?
TBC?
in like most of TBC.
What are you talking about?
Most tier 5 was the only time.
I mean, didn't we go over logs earlier today with Mage everywhere on top of those two?
Yeah, someone was saying they were best in Black Temple and Sunwell too, and they've been a strong presence in the entire
Number
tier
one
so far.
boss DPS in Black Temple and Sunwell for all top raids should have been the Hunter. And ideally you had 2 good BM Hunters, right?
Well, yeah, the scripting cheater ones, yeah.
Yeah. So it was Hunter was the best in TBC. Mages had tier 5, but like, yeah. And then Warlocks were like just fucking sitting there and seeding and shredding.
Best? How do you
We were-
how do you just define best? Because like I would
Consistency
argue
at the top
Mage
of
was
the meter.
better than Mage was better for
Yeah.
longer than Hunter was.
I never, maybe just on average, yes. How's that?
I take that as
And then
development. Now,
like at like
can you talk about Warlocks
99.9%,
positively now?
it's different, right?
Warlocks were on top for Nance.
Yeah, Warlocks were having a good time,
thank you.
dude.
Warlocks are fine.
Thank you. That
Besides
makes
in
me feel
classic
better.
Warlocks, I feel like we've been on a decent spot.
We don't talk
forever.
about that Dark Age. Yeah.
Warlocks are
We've
always
been in a
right
decent
there.
spot forever. Don't mind them. Not always.
I saw Sarthe showing off
Not
the video.
always.
Him showing his girlfriend to do damage in Black Temple.
Literally pumped harder than him. It was
She
crazy.
got a 99 on Illidan.
She was cranking. I was like, "There's no shot I'm watching this." You're like, telling her life tap, life tap.
It's just it was
It's
there's
good content.
it was like there's 3 buttons, babe. That's all you have to do. Just and I'm just gonna tell you which ones are pressed. I was like 1 1 1 1 1, and she like doesn't play video games or anything on a like with a keyboard even because she uses laptops. So she was like looking down where the 1 was to press Shadowful, and she just kept getting a ton of crits. It was great, perfect RNG. She topped the meters. Yeah, so Warlock was a good time then.
What a Chad.
Right? What is next is Velithria. Oh, Velithria.
Pass.
Easy.
Pass.
All right, fine. Pass.
Bathroom work.
Healers heal the green dragon, and then they fly in the air like
So-
little birds.
She is a big green dragon who is being kept in the Emerald Dream or something and needs to be healed from 50%. You are looking to heal her at 100% so she'll wake up and then kick everyone else's ass in the room. While the healers are healing her, a bunch of ads will spawn in those little side cubbies. The ads do a bunch of different stuff. The suppressor little monsters will reduce the amount of healing done to her. The blazing skeletons will do a big room-wide blast wave that are a problem. There's A-bombs. You got a kite, I think. And then the healers themselves are looking to jump into these portals that will spawn around the room and fly around and grab these red clouds that will give them a buff that increases their healing done that lasts for 45 seconds, I think. And what you're wanting to do is grab as many as you can as a group because they splash when they're grabbed, and then fall out of the portal phase into the regular room and then start pumping her. This is one of those fights where like it'll look like you're not making any progress, and then your healers will get to 30, 40 stacks, and then she'll be full health. So it escalates very quickly. The most important part of the entire fight is that the healers do not drop stacks at all. Toast. Some of them don't have images, but most of them should.
Doesn't have images. Joardee assignment sheet. We're
not quite done. We're like 80% there.
Joardee, are you guys doing any hunter tech?
So there's some 1 or 2 stacks for portal room. That's a good question, Kuja. I don't know yet. We got to talk about it. Yeah. So there's Sheath of Light, which is a Rep Pally talent that you can use that we kind of Nexus and Jason kind of pioneered, I think, or at least they figured it out as long as some other people. So that's cool. And then there's also Rhino Blood, which is a pet talent that increases healing done to a hunter pet. It's not Rep Pally. Okay, well, whatever. Rep Pallies take it. Yeah, okay. Holy Pally and Ret Spec. Whatever. It increases healing done by 40% to the pet. However, the only thing that matters is that you're splashing your holy lights off of the pet onto the boss, right? With your holy light glyph. So you beacon the boss, you park the pet underneath the boss, and then you heal the pet, and then the holy light splash that is happening from the pet will hit the boss and do a bunch of things. The way that the boss is coded to receive healing and the way that the buff is coded that increases your healing done is weird. And it's like getting modified multiple times. So there's a lot of little things that you can do that just increase the amount of healing that the boss takes by a ton. So Holy Paladins are really, really, really strong. You probably still want a healer in the main room, but This is the quote unquote healer fight. I think it's kind of annoying more than anything.
They like wanted to give healers something to do. They're like, all right, we're gonna give you a fight where you're the hero.
Yeah, and I mean it's just like that's not what I want to do, but okay. But it's kind of cool, I guess. Everyone's gonna hate this fight eventually because you're just gonna be standing around. The ads will die in 2 seconds, and then you'll just be waiting for healers to finish their job. So
Already
ads
hate it. I
are
pre-hate
so
it.
important. It's crazy. Don't sleep on those ads. That when it blows
Yeah, you gotta
up,
kill the ad.
nuke it. Like you stop what you're doing and nuke it. Watch your threat. When the big dude blows up into the little worms, that should knock me back a couple times too.
yeah. I don't have a ton of experience with the ads, so I gotta watch some more VOD. This is my next boss guide probably, so I'll be doing this tomorrow.
Definitely kill the one that blows up right away, and then go after the suppressors because they go on each side. Shadow Priest is so good for this fight. I love it so much on this because they can just kill everything down right away. It's super easy to do.
Yeah,
Farm the suppressors right away when you see them. Kill them right away. The dude that blows up, you got to kill it before he gets the cast off. I forgot what the
blazing skeleton. It's the blazing
what's the attack
skeleton
called?
Will do like blazing and casted AoE ability that literally will hit the entire raid. And it'll just keep like hitting the raid. So you nuke those down instantly. So
lay waste. That's what
lay
it's called.
waste. Okay, yeah. Whichever side that they spawn on, just call that out. Everybody be like, this is gonna die. Kill it before it can do anything. Then the suppressors, they all run into the boss, and they're kind of chosen like which side they're on. Like so maybe you'll have like 7 suppressors or 5 suppressors on the left and 1 on the right or something. And so then have people assigned to whichever side they're doing to deal with them DPS wise. But if you just don't let them get to the boss, that's the greatest. So slow them as much as possible. Just hit them with the chains of ice and stuff. And those are the 2 largest ones to deal with. Those are the 2 most important ads to deal with. There's also a Lich ad that does like an AoE frostbolt, interruptible, can one-shot you if you're melee probably. So just have your tank pick it up. It's not necessarily like high prio. The A-bombs, some people are kiting those. They hit pretty hard. I don't know if they cleave, but then when they die, the abominations, when they die, they will spawn a bunch of like little worms in their place. You can AoE these down like instantly, super fast. And then there's one more. It's like a flagged or rotting ghoul that like slowly creeps towards you. And when it dies, it explodes and it hurts. So you don't want to be there when it explodes.
Dude, I almost got run over by the Marauders. Holy fuck.
Oh my God,
Got
dude.
3 bars from 60. I almost got run over. Jesus.
That would have been funny in a bad way.
That would have been terrible.
They just thank
You're
God
laughing like
thank God for fucking
Uniscan, yeah. Woims Unite, you will pump. This fight is really it's just moving on to Syndragosa. You should be able to get through this extremely quickly. So Syndragosa,
Really, it's just that blazing skeleton. Really, that's like the only thing that's gonna fuck some shit up.
yeah, you'll be able to do it. Like your guilds will be able to do it. It's like Loot Ship, Marogar, and this are like on another level of easier. And then Syndragosa. Syndragosa is a fun fight, a hectic fight, but a fun fight. Probably another challenging one, would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Long fight.
All right, I'll let someone describe Syndragosa, and what do you guys think that like people should be looking out for on Syndragosa?
7 healing.
7
Look out for your
healing.
pillow.
7 healing.
It's boring.
This is a pummel fight.
I hate this. It is the worst caster fight ever.
Yeah,
it is
Unchained
so
Magic.
bad. This makes me sad, honestly. You walk up to it, you do the same thing for 6 minutes, you get to the second phase or whatever, and then you're just crying. Just like someone dies, another person dies. Oh, we go again, do it 30 times. It's really fun. I can't wait.
I like it as Shadow Priest since you can unchain within this version.
Yeah, if you can cheese it, it's like
Yeah.
cool. But like if you're a melee, it's nice because Chill to the Bone, you can stop auto time for a second, and most of the time it just falls off naturally.
Mhm.
So it's like another. This wing was designed by a healer really bored. That's my conspiracy theory.
The fight is a lot of fun because there's a lot of stuff to do. It's just really easy to have to wipe it. You know what I mean? That's the sad part about it. The tombs, everything about it, it's just kind of easy to mess up, and it's long. So you just mess up towards the end, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, the boss. So the Unchained Magic, it will target people, and you basically don't want to cast when you have it. You run out in a designated location, and can you cast it all?
Yeah, you can cast when you have it. You just stop. You stop It gets so you have a 30-second debuff or whatever, and whenever you cast, you get another stack of a separate debuff, and then when it blows up, it does more damage the more stacks you have. Like I think it's like 2,000 more damage per stack you have. So you just stop at like 5, 6, 7 stacks, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Like if you're a Shadow Priest, you can just keep going forever, and then just dispersion it off at the end. But yeah, you can still you cast while you're doing it. You just don't get too many stacks, and then you run away.
Contrary to what Crix is telling you, I would say don't cast at all. You for prog, your damage doesn't matter one bit. You should not cast because it just adds a risk factor that you don't need to. Like if you're a god gamer and you know how to handle it, great. But for prog, I'm telling you, just don't fucking cast.
Just little 3-4 stacks. No big deal. No. As priest can definitely go hard here.
I agree.
40,000 stacks.
And then once you kill the boss a few times and you got some gear and you want to fuck around, fine. But for prog, just stop casting. Hang out in the stack, get healed. If you're a healer, also stop casting. The way that the boss is coded is that 3 casters and 3 healers are always going to get picked, right? So if you have 5 healers, that means you're left with 2 healers who can cast, which is a problem because the boss does a lot of damage. And so, especially in phase 3. So you can't block it off. You can survive the explosion. No, you can't get 4 healers picked, Kuja. That's a problem.
Separate.
You're wrong. So the way that I'm telling you, you're wrong. Whatever happened to your poll, there was something that you did that made the healer not get labeled as a healer, but generally you're wrong. So either way, phase 3 is a fucking mess, and you need to drop a block left, you hide behind it, you reset your arcane buffet thing, then you drop a block right, you do it again, you go back and forth. Everyone's getting unchained magic, they're exploding. There's a ton of shit you got to do, and it sucks. So I would say this is one of those fights that it's not worth killing week 1 or week 2 if you don't know what you're doing, and you should just focus on other stuff. It's really annoying too. It's going to be similar to Lich King, where you're like 5, 6, 10 minutes into a pull, you wipe at 10% or 20%. It's just like, ugh. So it's hard. It's hard. What is this phase? Is this a log?
Yeah, I can't
so you can
click
see
it. Yeah.
It's definitely worth seeing this on normal too. One of those ones where just don't smash your face in it on heroic. You can easily get sucked into like a long time progging heroic if you start wiping towards the
1,
end.
2, 3, 4. You're saying 5 people got hit with Unchained Magic off the rip. This is fucked. This is not how it should work. Okay. I'm wrong, but this is not how it should work. It should be 3 cast 3s. That's how it should work. If it's not working like that, it's a problem.
She just got
that log looks awful. I'd be super mad if I was this person.
Why?
Because that fucking 5 healers are getting hit. How are you supposed to keep the tanks up?
Just heal through it. Cry about it. Bubble.
Just be have your hots ticking because you're resto druid pumper, dude. Chat.
It's supposed to be 3 healers and 3 casters. It's coded that way.
How do you feel about resistance sets for tanks or resistance on anyone else? What are you guys thinking for your progression and as well kills so far?
Alaska's OP for the second phase with a magic buffet. Like I've seen a bunch of not fusion guilds using resistance flask because that's our go-to for a lot of elemental damage type things, but it is really good with the scaling extra damage. So I would use that. And then tanks I've seen use big frost resists with like 500 frost res. So if you're having trouble, swap your flask. Maybe that'll help.
Did you
don't have to necessarily use it immediately.
I think for everyone's progression, they should just do that. Also, Joardee, did you guys are running your tanks running a full frost res set?
You cut out what?
Your tanks are running a full frost res set?
Not a full frost res set, but yeah, they're running some. That's like 250-ish, I think, or something. There's sets floating around you can find.
Yeah, I think Wowhead also has sets built in for every tank spec, so people can find those. But yeah, using some frost resistance can be really helpful on your tanks on this fight. This fight, they hit the tanks hard. DK tanks are fucking awesome for this fight, but DK tanks are just awesome in this raid. Dealing with the ice blocks is really important. The phasing and running away, and let me try to show it happening really quickly for you guys. But yeah, whenever the boss flies away and does its air phase, you will get 6 ice blocks. The ice blocks need to stack in groups of 2. So 2 in the middle, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, and everybody will hide behind them. You want to bring them to low P, but don't down them before. Oh my God, that was fast. fast. And then you want to hide from these frost bolts that are going out on the raid.
You see
LLS
the
them.
little circle out there where it's gonna land. It is so important to see that because it is like dead. You have to be dead LOS. You can't be peeked out, like your finger can't be out or you're gonna die.
Yeah, you need to be
Like,
really good at hiding.
literally like straight behind it. But you can see it's really easy because you can see it up there. You see where it's gonna be, and then you dodge it.
Usually a raid leader will just call it out to make it easy for you also probably. So just be aware of that. Don't, as DKs, this damage to this doesn't matter for your like parse or whatever. Don't giga dot everything because you want to control damage to those tombs. It's like a whole thing. You want control damage to these tombs because right as the phases end, you want to down them, but you don't want to kill a tomb before the phase is over. Don't tell me not to pest. Just, you could pestilence, but just pestilence with a icy touch maybe, huh? So that you're not like critting some of your diseases.
Yeah, just don't dot.
Just, yeah, you don't need to do it.
You just want to get them low, like 20%, 30%. So then when you need to pop them out, they can instantly pop out.
And then
they take damage as it goes out.
On 10 man, these die crazy fast. It's unbelievable. You'll like not be paying attention and it's just done. It's just done. So so just take care of these in an easier way. You're probably gonna want to see the fight on normal more so before you start doing it on hard mode, heroic mode. But yeah, so you'll hide from those. And then phase 3, once he gets into phase 3, you're just taking a ton of damage. So the whole raid is taking damage. Everything's going out. There's the boss will start doing an AoE explosion that looks like an arcane explosion. And that will put a buff or debuff on you that makes you take more magic damage. So it'll keep hitting you and get more and more. And the way to drop that is to hide behind the tombs. So now you won't have the boss fly anymore, but you'll need to hide behind the tombs every now and then to drop your debuffs. Pummel mentioned it, but the resist flask during this phase, like, why not, right? Like, you're losing a little bit of damage. Like, why do you care, man? And then so you just drop these on one side, the left and right. And I forgot the blistering cold. The boss will every now and then suck you into the boss, a little sucky, and then you just need to run away because it'll explode.
Phase 3 will become a burn phase with gear, but without the gear, it's a endurance phase. It's, can you go back and forth between the blocks and kill the boss without dying? It takes a lot of time. So just act like it. Use defensives, try not to die, don't stack up those debuffs, all that shit.
Yeah, just like, there's gonna be people in your raid that just want to pump and they like, you're causing so much more stress for your healers. Unless you're confident you're gonna one-shot it, then you already know your plan for this. But unless you're confident that you're gonna one-shot it, it's just so easy. If you're a raid leader, just bring tell everyone to bring a resistance flask, but be ready to just trade them out. Let's be real. You could use a ring also. If I think that's also really helpful for like GDKPs too, is like require people to have maybe a resist. But yeah, this is like, eventually when we're geared, yes, we're gonna just like nuke down the boss during this phase and you're gonna ignore mechanics. But for now, man, just deal with it. Like, just handle it and you'll kill the boss. Or if you like try to overcomplicate things and like push too much damage in certain sections, you're just gonna wipe. So this is definitely a boss that a lot of guilds are gonna spend a lot of time on. And I think it's easier to just not be hard-headed and deal with it by doing the mechanics than it is to pump.
Yeah.
And then Lich King, just do it normal.
Easy fight. I think you guys can one shot this on
I think it's an easy fight. I think heroic Lich King is going to get one shot by like everybody who wants to.
Yeah, we're one shotting.
Lich King is
Shut up, Pummel.
Lich King is just all right. Here's the thing: unholy DKs and warlocks are just awesome on Lich King. They're so strong. I think DK tanks are epic. I think a Feral Druid tank invites the ability to die, but is doable week 1. But it's going to get so much better when you get gear. That's a personal opinion.
Did you hear about Pwn Time killing Heroic Lich King?
Heard about that.
Own time.
Yeah, Pwn Time, big guild.
Yeah, I think, triple disc, double enhanced shaman is the play. Please don't actually believe that. I'm sorry for saying that again. I'm not
Double resto druid. No disc.
You know, it's okay if you have ideas for your guild's comp that you want to try out on Lich King, and bad, but you don't know until you try. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, just
Anyone
keep
out there.
trying 24 DKs and a resto.
Yeah, I want to try 24 DKs because DKs are bad, and we eliminate them from the comp too.
Yep.
That's like week 4, 3, and 4.
Keep puffing it, buddy.
I'm a Feral Druid. You're.
Why is
Dude,
Bab
did
spamming
you see
me?
how quick he got rid of his unholy?
I've been in Unholy the entire time.
He's not even claiming.
It's not in your DK.
I literally finished an Unholy Cross and went to look at blood and all of it last night that I'm going to put up and how it changes your rotation. Yeah, the thumbnails have been fun, huh? Yeah, so Lich King, realistically, guys, just do it on normal. It's even hard on normal, I think. Is it? I didn't.
It's not easy on normal. It's easier for sure.
What's the difference from normal and heroic on that? Defile?
Double health
20
and
million
a
health or something?
gajillion fucking no, it's
Any
double
mechanics?
health. It's like insane.
Jesus.
The shamblers don't fuck you. There's like a ton of things.
The
Yeah, normal Lich King will take you time to learn, and you need to kill it week 1. You need to kill it week 1. So plan to spend like 2 hours on it at least.
traps in phase 1, Cujo. I forgot that that's a mechanic. Joardee, can you describe the trap mechanic?
I don't know. I've never touched them. I don't know.
That's it.
I didn't know they existed. I just dodged them in my sleep. It's fine.
Yeah, that's in heroic. In normal, you don't have to deal with that. There's the traps. Just if you hit it, it explodes and it knocks you off the platform. There's really, how many guilds do you guys think are going to kill heroic Lich King week 1?
Less than 10.
I think around
8.
10 have the capabilities to kill it, the comp, the drive, and the reps, and like
The
4
drive.
will actually kill it. In what
More than
order?
4.
Who knows?
I say more
As
than
soon
4.
as
8.
soon as
At least
as
4.
the top people kill it, it will unlock a lot of ability for the rest of them.
Yes,
Because there is some tech. There's some tech in there that
It's in
they're
the
going to
log.
show that is going to help a lot. So you have 50 pulls to implement the tech and get the kill. The enrage is going to be gnarly. There's a ton of little things, but I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people haven't. There's a lot of guilds that have done phase 2 but have not done phase 3 in a way. And I think that once they see it, they'll be like, "Oh, that's how we do it," and then they do it.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Still less than 10.
It's a hard one. Once the top 3 get it down, everybody's gonna like go through their VODs and their logs.
I think you'll see
and-
5 to 6 on day 1.
but still less than 10 all of week 1, even with 10-man splits.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think.
Okay, I changed my mind to 11.
Oh, nice. I want to say yeah, 5ish. Kill it day 1 and between 5 and 15 week 1, but I think it could be like 12. It could remain 8. Yeah,
Double hunter is not required. No.
It's
Will we kill it week 1? Probably not.
Normal, yeah.
Yeah, will anybody one shot it? What do you think?
I think Fusion will for sure. Yeah, 100%.
I think a guild will one shot it.
Yeah, no. Never mind.
Yeah. The boss was buffed on the last day of the PTR at the last couple hours. It is going to be a very crazy fight. We've never ever fought heroic Lich King without having at least ICC 25 gear and tier gear. It never went down in retail until 170 attempts and 5% buff and full bisque gear. It is the hardest version we've seen, and it is going to be
You
crazy
think it's going to be the hardest fight that Classic has seen ever?
by far. Not even close. It's literally not even close.
It can't be. It
I'd
can't be
like
hard
to announce
Twin Emperors.
I am turning in my final quest and I'm hitting 60.
Do
right
you
You're
want
gonna
to turn
hit
on your stream?
60
Show me
on
how
the
to stream.
hard-
now? I just hit 60.
He's at 60 on the
man.
hardcore challenge on a warrior,
Off
guys.
stream. Fuck you
Hey.
guys.
Congrats, Joardee.
Oh my God.
I love you. Here, I'll end this, guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the tips. If there's anything else you have to say or where people can find your information, because you guys have the loot prio guides, which are going out tomorrow also, but your Patreon and the guides and Crix. So,
Oh, by the way, you're not in the race, right? So, neither am I. So we're doing a watch party on Sarthe channel for the ICC. Yeah, that's happening.
who knows? You'll find out
Yes, that's happening.
soon.
That's happening. Don't listen to it. It's happening. So Sarthe channel for launch. We're gonna do a watch party.
Yeah, you will
And
see.
I can only be there for 2 hours because I have a game to go
Heroic
to.
Lich King will die here on this stream. You will see the world first happen. Who knows where I'll be? You'll see it. You'll see everything. We'll be up. Yeah.
We're doing it. And stay tuned for Makara stuff. I might have a special guest tomorrow for something that we might do before launch. For the
I hit
journey.
60.
Get it, bud.
Congrats, he did it.
That's exciting.
Everyone say congrats to Joardee.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Hell yeah, you should be. That's a big deal.
I should have done a stream, but fuck it.
Years
Me
ago,
too,
that's
right now.
where we met. We met
Yeah.
playing hardcore at levels, and we did
You want to
level
go
60
farm
dungeons.
SGC, Sarthe?
Hell,
You guys met
yeah.
in hardcore. That's cute.
Yeah, he helped me get. We both got SGC, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah,
Adorable.
Hell yeah, we did.
I gotta go do so much stuff.
Yeah, off stream, so it didn't happen. Joardee, do you anything else you wanna plug or say for people to find you?
No. Yeah, the Patreon's a good way to help out. I'm on Twitch. The boss guides are coming. There's going to be an assignment sheet guide coming. I'm going to try to get everything done, but it's probably not going to happen. And then from ICC launch on, I'm kind of doing ICC like nonstop. Saturday, I'm waking up at like 5 a.m. and I'm going until like 2 a.m. So it's going to suck. And I'm raid leading all of it.
I mean, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be really
It's going to be spicy. We have all GGPs with all of us in there, and it's going to be fucking so much fun.
It's going to be
Pummel because he hates
How
us.
come you?
You probably didn't sign up, man. You
Yeah,
probably
he
didn't
didn't
sign
sign
up.
up.
You probably got
Exactly
message
why.
about it. It
Just
got lost in the
gaslighting
box.
He never
Sweet.
wants to hang out.
Okay.
Let's make videos.
And yeah, thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Crix.
Of course. You're
Thank
always
you,
welcome.
Joardee.
We're going to be doing more episodes more frequently now. Sorry, I'm in a raid right now, so I can't look.
Yeah. Pummel, where can people find you and your stuff?
Hi, it's Pummel on Twitch and YouTube, and I now have a Patreon too. I'm gonna be making some videos about AF and Unholy and ICC this upcoming week because someone has to be the new Unholy guy with Sarthe rerolling to Feral. I'm figuring I might as well take up the mantle.
I have so many guides that I'm working
And-
on. God damn it! I'm still working on a ton of guides for DKs.
Don't lie. You left us for
Oh,
TikTok.
come say hi. And I'm gonna be streaming after this. I think we're gonna be doing a horde speed kill run. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna be wiping the twins 30 times.
Yeah,
So
The like
Very
2.5
exciting.
hour
Or Beast.
POGC.
Beast is always the raid, the parse way I'm trying to get parse runs in.
yeah, killing the worms at the same time before the
Yeah.
burrow is gonna be very fun. So it's gonna be exciting. And thanks for having me on. I always have fun on these. I really do. Thank you.
I love you, dog. Crix, anything else to say to people before we go?
Nope. We'll have more episodes soon. See you guys soon.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Take care. See you guys all in ICC. Actually, we'll probably talk literally tomorrow. But thank you for being here.
Peace. Can't look away from my computer.
We did it. All right, guys. Guys, I love you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. It's been a while since we did a podcast, obviously. We've all been really busy with our stuff, and that is it. Hopefully this gives you some good for all of the bosses. Realistically, I know I kind of memed on Heroic Lich King. I would say Heroic Lich King guide might be out like hours later of the day. So Race World first, guys. One more time, watch the Race World first here on this stream. You will see it all going down. This will be the first time that there's 3 guilds really going for it against each other. Stop it, Prey. We have Progress, Beef Bar, and Noda all going up against each other, and I'm not sure still if a Chinese guild goes for it. But if they do, and if you know of one doing it, could you ping me and let me know of someone that might have the VOD or stream of it.